74% of their offensive output, including 31 touchdowns, 7 on the ground and 24 through the air. All that tonight on the Game of the Week.
Charter Communications presents the High School Game of the Week. Brought to you by Alliance Transmissions of Riverside, AMF Riverside Lanes, Arlington Mortuary, Castle Amusement Park, Country Time RV Center, Fritz Ford, Ken Sporting Goods, Lake Alice Trading Company, Muller Hood Pontiac Buick, Riverside County's Credit Union, Bud's Tire Pros, and Rancho's Southwest Grill.
From Corona High School, it's the Corona Panthers taking on the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars in round 2 of CIF Southern Section Division 5 Championship Football Playoffs. Hi once again, everyone. I'm Rod Shemp, and along with Carl Beach and Rich Gardner, happy to bring you all the exciting action of tonight's game between the Mount Baldy League's #2 team, the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars, and the #1 seed in the tournament and the Mountain View League champion of 1999, the Corona Panthers. Carl, I've had an opportunity to see both these teams. You haven't seen Corona. I got to tell you, this kid, Tony Davis, is one of the most exciting runners we've seen. What does Rancho Cucamonga have in their playbook to stop a guy like this?
Well, Rod, I haven't seen Corona yet, but I understand that they're a high-powered offense, and Coach Beach and the defensive staff has got their work cut out for him, stopping Davis as well as probably stopping the rest of the Corona offense. Well,
Coach Fotia's throwing a little bit of a wrinkle tonight. Rather than going with 4 defensive linemen, 4 backers, and 3 defensive backs, he's opted to go with a 4-3-4 defense. Now, to me, is he saying that he expects Davis to get into the secondary, or is he planning on shutting down the pass and let Davis get his yards?
I really don't know. I mean, they've done a good job year after year of defending the run. And, you know, if they can shut down Davis and the run and force Corona to throw the ball, I think whatever schemes they come up with, that's what they're going to try and do, is to control Davis, give him some of his yards, but have control of him and make the Corona do something they don't want to do.
Well, and those of you who have watched on Channel 54 all year long know all about the Rancho Cucamonga offense. Nick Fotia, 24 touchdowns through the air, 7 on the ground. He's going to have to come up big tonight because the Cougars are minus Marino, and they're also minus Chris McKinley on the offensive side.
Well, that's right. On paper, it doesn't look very good in terms of having a ball control type offense with a running game for Rancho Cucamonga. However, Nick is a movable quarterback that can move around and create some problems on his own as a runner. So I think that Coach Ingalls may have designed some things to take advantage of his running ability as well as the tremendous passing ability that he has.
It's a matter of Rancho Cucamonga's offense being their best defense here tonight. That's the best way to keep the ball out of the hands of the high-powered running of Tony Davis. Either way, it's going to be one heck of a football game. Corona, the #1 seed in Division 5 against the Cougars of Rancho Cucamonga. They're going to start dueling it out in moments, but first we'll have an interview with Coach Pete Fotia when we return to Corona High School right after these words. Ready for what will be the final game of 1999, the final game of the century for one of these schools, Corona or Rancho Cucamonga. Carl, you have really kind of contrasting styles here tonight. Corona with a very well-balanced attack with the running of Davis, but they also put the ball into the hands of their wide receiver, Brian McCorkle. They really like to go to him. They'll also get it downfield to Barnett. And what can you say about the Cougars with Nick Fotia? The guy has just been unbelievable. We've got some stats we're going to bring up in a little while to show you just how prolific this young man has been. But as we noticed earlier, Corona won the toss. There you see the Cougars' total offense this year, 3,685 yards, 44 touchdowns. Nick Fotia, 2,719 yards, 74%, and 31 TDs. But first, it'll be Jarrett Brown and Marvin Clark back deep to receive the opening kickoff of tonight's football game. Steve Quintero has it teed up, and we are underway. The ball will come down to Brown at the goal line. Jarrett Brown is upended as he gets to the 20-yard line, and that's where the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars will take over. Let's take a look at the Cougars offensively. They're led, of course, by their outstanding senior quarterback, Nick Fotia, with the 24 touchdowns through the air this year. Up front, He's got Nelson, Dooley, Smoot, Jonathan Dooley, and Brandon Johnson. And his backs and receivers, Michael Moon, Jared Brown, John Wallum, Elias Tuitupo, and Joe Valerie in there in place of Omar Marino. First play from scrimmage. Line of scrimmage is the Cougar 22, make it the 23-yard line. Fake pitch. No, it is the pitch. Out to Jarrett Brown, and Brown picks up 10 yards and possibly a first down. Brought down by Travis Wilczynski. And let's take a look at that Panther defense. First of all, up front, they've got Tim Boyer, Wilczynski, Eric Bello, Chris Welch. The linebackers, outstanding crew led by Andy Avalos. You got Vander Kellen, Collette, and Farwell. And the defensive backfield, Brian McCorkle, Cameron DeJournay, and Cody Nunley. Second down and a yard. They say that Brown got 9 on that initial play from scrimmage. Nick Fotia, number 7, up under center. And he's going to throw on second and short. It's a quarterback draw, and he's got a lot of running room. He's got some speed. He's out in the open, trying for the sideline. Fotia is going to score!
Excellent. Well, you asked me earlier how they were going to handle not having both their running backs here, Rod, and that's exactly how they did it. They run an option, and then they run a quarterback draw. Who needs a running game when you got those two plays, huh?
Nick Fotia, and I think, Carl, teams are so surprised at his speed in the open field.
Well, they run enough option in practice, and I've seen Nick play throughout the year, and he has a great burst when he gets into the clear. I noticed that 74 went limping off the field for Rancho Cucamonga, one of their offensive linemen, so let's see what happens there, because they can't afford to lose anyone.
Mike Nelson, one of their senior offensive linemen.
He's set to kick for the Cougars, number 11, Michael Moon.
Moon in to attempt the extra point, and it is good. And just like that, 10:56 to go, first quarter. The Cougars break out on top in this cat fight, 7-0. We'll be right back.
Is this going to take all day?
How long will the repairs take?
Ask him how much it's going to cost.
I'll get to that.
Behind every transmission repair, there are a lot of questions. At Alliance Transmissions of Riverside, transmissions are all we do, so we get the job done right the first time. No hidden costs, no unnecessary repairs. Got a leak? We'll fix it now. The winter months are no time for your vehicle to break down with a transmission problem. Come in now for our special transmission service. Alliance Transmissions of Riverside. We're your neighborhood transmission service center.
Fleetwood, Sandpiper, Wildwood, they're all here. They're all priced to sell at the #1 RV dealer on the West Coast, Country Time RV Center. We've got every kind of RV you're looking for whatever kind of camping you're into. At Country Time RV, we're your authorized Fleetwood Parts Distribution Center. Nobody installs or sells more hitches and accessories than we do. Why? Because we're Riverside's largest parts and accessories dealer. We'll see you there at Country Time RV Center, Indiana Avenue off the 91 freeway in Riverside.
Here you see Nick, it's a called draw. The offensive linemen are turning their people out. He plants and drives up the field and gets into the open, and once he's there, he makes some nice cuts here, setting up some of his block. There's one by Brown, pushing up the field here, and he's going to get another block by Moon. And number 1 here doesn't know what to do, so Nick makes another cut back inside and sprints to the end zone. It's a great play.
What a nice block by number 3, Jesse White as well. Took out 2 Panthers on the way down the field. So the Cougars draw first blood. Back deep to receive. We have McCorkle and Davis, and the Cougars will kick it deep. McCorkle at the 1. And McCorkle, as Cougars are falling down, he's got explosive speed, trying to get outside, and he'll be brought down at the 28-yard line, where Corona will take over 1st and 10. Taking a look at the Corona Panthers on offense. At quarterback, they have the senior. What a great job he did against Norco. Gabriel Robbins. His O-line, Jeff Given, Randy Lehman, Wallace, Nate Lorge, and Mike Savicki. In the backfield, he's got Tony Davis and Ryan Moss. The receivers, Wagner, McCorkle, and Jeremy Barnett. And you're going to be impressed, Carl, by this Tony Davis. He is some kind of runner.
Well, they've got Rancho's got their work cut out for him, but let's see how they come up with something to stop him.
They'll get a try right at the beginning, and he fumbles the football, and the Cougars grab it right out of the air. Number 48 will score. That's Cedric Oliver.
How about that? Hello.
Cedric Oliver, as the ball was knocked loose from Tony Davis, and that's one thing we did notice, Mike Churchill and I, Carl, was that he does carry the ball a little loosely, and apparently the Cougar coaches saw a little bit of that on videotape.
Well, he did hold the ball loosely, and he didn't really get hit that hard. If we see it in the replay here, I think you see he's just pretty anxious to run the ball. Here we see the toss play. He's turning upfield here, and someone gets a hand on him, pops it up, and it falls right into Cedric's hands, and he sprints the other way for a score. That's a big play for Rancho. That's a turnover and a half.
So Cedric Oliver, and there was no one going to catch him. Moon with the extra point attempt. No good, and we'll see how that fares later on in the ball game. But with 10:36 to go, a minute 24 gone in the game, and the Cougars on top, 13-0.
Creating a successful social event can be very labor-intensive.
It was easy with Class A Party Supplies and Rental, and everyone's having a great time.
At Class A Party Supply and Rental, we'll coordinate everything, handle setup and delivery so you can have a stress-free soiree. With our own supply store, we give you the best prices on everything you need for a rousing success.
This holiday season, call our party planners and make your party a stress-free success.
Class A Party Supply and Rental on Regis Court and Rancho Cucamonga, north of Foothill, west of Haven.
Rancho's Southwest Grill and Bar, located on Holt between Tyler and La Sierra, just around the corner from the Galleria. You'll be glad you chose Rancho's.
It is amazing the similarities between this game, the start of this game, and the last time the Panthers played a Cougar team, the Norco Cougars, on the game of the week. In the very beginning, it was like, as Mike Churchill said last week, Carl, there were 20 points on the board before the defense had even gotten out on the field for Norco. I mean, this is unbelievable what these guys are able to do at this particular football field. So we'll try it again. This time, once again, it's going to be McCorkle. McCorkle starts up the left side, spins, and is dropped. But a pretty nifty run back. Got it out to about the 27, 28-yard line. And we didn't have an opportunity to take a look at the Cougars on defense. Let's take a look at them right now for Rancho Cucamonga. It's Elias Tuitupo, Ryan Perez, Trayson Lewis, and Cedric Oliver on the D-line. The backers, just three of them tonight, Regina Smoot and Cabildo. And the defensive secondary lines up with Brandon Parker and Marvin Clark at the corners. Michael Moon and Chris Rutherford are the safeties. 1st and 10. As Robbins has them ready. Straight up the middle goes Davis, and there he goes. He can explode just like that. 14 yards.
Well, they spread them out. They run a one-back offense with 4 wide outs and loosen your defense, and then try to pop Davis up in there in an inside or outside zone play, as we call it in football.
Relaford made the tackle, and Carl, I have to believe that Relaford and Moon are really going to be tested because, as you saw, this kid can get past the defensive line and the backers in the blink of an eye.
Well, when you spread people out, you have to rely on safeties to make tackles close to the line of scrimmage.
Fake to Davis, pass is complete, and it is going to be ruled incomplete. Ooh, that's not going to be a good call for the hometown crowd, is it? He got it to Barnett. Relaford on the coverage, but they say he did not have possession before he fumbled the football. The officiating crew tonight. Oh, we have this on the replay. We'll get to the crew in a moment.
Here you see just a simple bootleg with a man in a flat, and let's see if he keeps possession as he goes out of bounds. He has, well, no, he doesn't have true possession.
He spun it around, didn't he?
Yeah, he did not have total control of the ball. Good call.
So Barnett loses it. A good call by the officials. And they are Leo Hembler, the referee. Phil Novak is the umpire. Dan Ramirez, the headlinesman. Line judge is Bob Bailey. And Dan Nowak is the back judge. Second down. Davis bouncing around, and after a pickup of 2, maybe 3.
The thing about the one-back, Rod, is if your front four can control the offensive lineman and you get some decent play out of a linebacker or 2, depending if you have what we call 5 in the box or 6 in the box defenders, if you can control that up front, then you can do the job against the run. And that's where Rancho has to be successful, is controlling Davis and forcing these guys to throw the ball.
Well, they've got him in 3rd and long. 3rd down, 6 yards to go. But, heck, we saw with Davis, I mean, he could pick up 14 yards just like that. So you don't necessarily make it a passing situation. But Robbins is going to try to pass. Instead, he will be sacked by Romeo Cronji. Or, no, is that Treson Lewis? Treson Lewis bringing him down for a big loss, and the Cougar defense has come to play on the first set of downs.
Well, Treson wasn't fooled by that bootleg. A lot of times you'll get a defensive end to bite on it and roll out behind him, and he wasn't. You'll see the fake to Davis, and you see Treson just maintain his control and make the play. Spun him around.
Lewis, a big-time ball player, recruited by a lot of big schools. He is a talent. Moon is back deep to receive, I believe. No, instead they're going to drop by Marvin Clark back there tonight.
Well, Moon limped off a minute ago.
So Clark going to the far side, trying to find some running room. Picks up about 6 yards on the return, and the Cougars will get pretty good field position. Chandler Wallace running him out of bounds. So the Cougars, who have had 2 offensive plays but have scored 13 points tonight, so they haven't had to show much of their playbook so far. Their 3rd possession, if you want to call it that. There's John Brandom. Can't be too happy about the opening minute and a half of this ball game. Unbelievable. 8:28 first quarter, 13-0. The Cougars playing the #1 seed in D5. Fotia, double wides to each side of the football field, a single running back behind him. Didn't fool anybody, did it?
Ran a trap play, and penetration just knocked the trap play out.
Andy Avalos pushing the pile back. That was Elias Tuitupo. There was just nothing there. Tuitupo's been kind of the all-purpose guy. He's played a lot of defense. We've seen him play a couple of games at fullback, but they're minus Omar Marino and Chris McKinley, and that's a lot to make up for, Carl.
It is. You got to keep the defense honest by having a somewhat of a running game. Now, they'll go back to this option scheme that they've come up with. I know they will, and get Fotia involved again with the option.
2nd down, 11 yards to go. He sends Jarrett Brown in motion. Now he sets up behind him. And a quick hitter up the middle. That's Tuitupo. And boy, an ankle tackle. Saved that from being a huge play, but it is a pickup of 8. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Andy Avalos, and we'll be calling his name all night long, Carl. I think this kid is probably the best linebacker in the county.
Well, I tell you what, they're going to be tested. If they haven't prepared much for an option game, they are going to be on their heels, because that's all assignment by the defense, and if they're not prepared during the week, Rancho's going to move the football on them.
3rd down, a little less than a yard. They've got to get across the 40-yard line. Tuitupo, they bunched it up in the middle. Well, it's just a matter of if he moved the stack, and it looks like they did enough. But we'll wait and see where the officials mark it. If it's where the official to this side of the field is, it will be enough for a 1st down. It is. 1st and 10 for Rancho Cucamonga. That's only their first down of the night. But I think you'd take 13 points instead of a bunch of 1st downs, right?
Well, you would, and not only that, they're hanging on to the football. It's nice to get a 13-point lead in a high school game because time goes by rather quickly.
Inside 7 minutes, played nearly half of the first quarter. Fotia audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. And he wants to throw. It's a quick slant inside, complete. There goes Mike Moon, cuts it outside. Moon down the sideline. He's being chased by DeJournay, who saves the touchdown with a tackle at the 6-yard line.
Well, Nick saw the stunt, saw the blitz perhaps coming, and they ran a little inside. I guess it was an inside screen to the wide receiver there as he comes underneath. We'll see it again. And Moon showed some exceptional acceleration here.
Well, remember, Carl, against Canyon Springs, Michael Moon was having a monster game. And he really turns it on when he gets to the outside. He ran right by DeJournay, who stayed with the play. Good move on McCorkle.
Well, they have done everything right so far, and credit to Fotia and to Coach Ingles.
They say he went out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
No, little draw play there, didn't go anywhere.
Not much there. That was
counter draw.
Looked like he went to Moon on that one, huh?
Yeah.
So they're running Moon out of the backfield as well. So I think that might be another reason they're not having him back there on the punts. He's playing defensively, and looks like he's going to be a much larger part of the offensive sets here tonight.
Well, if they pull this game out, there's such a big credit should go to that whole staff, because it's not easy to put this stuff in 1 week.
Yeah, 2nd down 9, not 2nd and goal. But I miscalled that. They marked him down at the 13. Line of scrimmage is now the 12. Fotia throwing for the corner and overthrows his receiver, but there's going to be a flag, and it wasn't necessary. Jarrett Brown, that ball was thrown way over his head, and they don't have that uncatchable pass rule in high school.
That'll drive you nuts as a secondary coach. You know, you teach your kids to cover well and try to play as hard as they can, and it almost seems like it's unfair. Yep, there it is, pass interference. You'll see Nick put the ball up, and he's putting it in the corner, and it is overthrown a little bit. I don't think Brown has a chance to catch it, but the defender does interfere with him slightly, and you can't do that.
Now he's all over me. He has his hands on him. Jarrett Brown, we know if that ball is in his vicinity, he'll find a way to catch the football.
Absolutely.
Now they get 1st and goal. Huge penalty. Fotia has him ready. Full house in the backfield. Tui Tupou is upended right as he got his hands on the football. Nice tackle inside by Matt Bonello. Bonello, 5'9", 170-pound junior. Got good penetration that time on the defense.
Always want to throw the ball on first and down like that, Rod. Just run a little play flake and bump that tight end out into the delay and just dump it to him. There'll be nobody there.
Well, you know, with Fotia, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of some of the quarterbacks the Rams had way back in the 60s that could run the football. They would hand it off and just do that naked bootleg and go into the end zone.
And Nick is certainly fast enough to do something.
And there he goes. That's what it is, the naked bootleg. He's trying to get to the corner, and he scores. Are they going to call him down? No, they're going to say him down at about the half-foot line.
Well, they're going to call a hold on the left tackle or tight end, too, over here. You'll see it earlier. I believe that's who it's going to be on. He basically...
he tackled somebody himself,
bear hugged him, yeah.
Because it looked like he had gotten in, but... Well, we'll have to tell Pete that we must be reading his playbook, Carl.
Right play, just somebody just hung on a little too much.
Well, and you definitely have the tool in your toolbox with Nick Fotia, his son, because not only is he fast, but he showed there he was hit. He wasn't going to be denied the end zone.
He's a fierce competitor, and that's certainly what I certainly like about him. I think he gets it from his father. His mother's too nice.
5:06 to go in the first quarter. 13-0 Rancho Cucamonga. The crowd on the Corona side is in shock. They are so quiet right now. 2nd and goal, ball now back at the 13-yard line. There's the quarterback draw. Fotia gets away from trouble, being chased by Avalos, but he will score. Any flags? No flags. Touchdown, Rancho Cucamonga. And boy, has Nick Fotia lived up to his press clippings or what?
Well, they were going to run a draw again. You watch him, you watch this play, and you can see where he tries to sift through the A gap, B gap area there, and there's nothing there. It's plugged up, and he will break back to his left and score. If we have that. Here we go. Watch him set his feet, and he's going to plant and turn up. Nothing there. Boom. Here he comes.
And you got the Panthers just falling over themselves there. And Avalos just not enough speed to get him.
It's such an asset to be able to run as a quarterback and have mobility like Nick has. You know, it's just a tremendous asset to have as a quarterback.
So Fotia with 2 touchdowns throws the fade as they go for 2. And Carl, you're expecting a flag, but there's not going to be one.
Bad angle for me, maybe.
Yeah, he tried to get it into John Wallen, but with 4:57 to go in the first quarter, the Cougars on top, 19-0. We'll be right back.
Since 1966, Enterprise Chevrolet has been your hometown dealer, providing unbeatable Chevy deals to keep you coming back.
I bought my first car from Enterprise Chevrolet in 1972, a Malibu, and my family and I have been coming back ever since.
You've got to come into Enterprise Chevrolet and experience the brand new 1999 Silverado with an even roomier extended cab, several new safety features, and an entirely new engine. Catch the new 1999 Silverado at your hometown dealer, Enterprise Chevrolet, on Foothill, just east of Mountain in Upland.
Been bowling lately?
Bowling is where it's at.
Going bowling is a cheap night out.
I started bowling because he bowls.
Have fun. Take your family bowling today.
We do a lot of bowling together and we do a lot of bonding together that way, yeah.
You can bring your family here and no problem.
We can bring everybody. That's what's really good.
Bowling is fun.
We love this game! We love this game! It's fun. I like it.
I love their french fries.
19-0. Cougars. Could be 21, but they botched the extra point 2 times.
Coverage is important here. Let's see how they get down and cover this again and not let them get field position.
Bate kicks it. Davis on the run, and they swarm to him and bring him down, but he still gets it out into pretty good field position to start the drive for the Corona Panthers. Got it out close to the 30-yard line. He is so fast, Carl.
Anytime you kick the ball off and hold the returner inside the 30, that's good. That's a good thing. If you get him inside the 20, that's tremendous. But inside the 30, you're going to make the offense work the field.
So the Panthers, it's the 3rd time tonight that they'll have the football, but we have a penalty, and they're going to be assessed a big boy. Rich Gardner's got some players that are being sponsored tonight by their parents. Let's go down to Rich.
Thanks, Rob. Well, first of all, the Gridiron Club want to wish all the Corona Panthers a great game tonight. We want to mention that Ryan Moss is being sponsored by Tim Moss. Chris Welch is being sponsored by Mom and Dad, no first name there. And Gabriel Robbins is also being sponsored by Mom and Dad. And Jeff Given is being sponsored by Brian, Brad, and Dad, and the rest. Back to you, Rod.
And Gibbons wanted to throw. I don't know who was in the vicinity. He threw it over the head. So as the crow flies, the ball was over the head of Tony Davis, but excellent pressure once again by the Cougar defense.
Well, he just threw that ball away. Now he's limping. I think it was Trayvon Lewis that was in his face, and probably could have knocked the ball down had he put his hands up in the air, but he is not feeling too well right now, and this is a big blow for them.
Oh, absolutely. This Gabriel Robbins is a competitor. This is one tough kid. You look at him, he doesn't look like your stereotypical quarterback, does he?
No, he looks like a linebacker, but he looks like he's hurting right now. There's something wrong with his foot.
I tell you, if he can play at all, he'll be back out there. There's nothing but tough in that boy. 4:45 to go in the first quarter. The Panthers down 3 scores. He's talking to his coach on the sideline. I think he's trying to talk his way back in. What do you think?
Well, there isn't an injury timeout or anything, so I'm not sure what he's doing. I guess he's getting the play and going back in.
Well, the Panthers, I assume, took a timeout there.
He is not feeling too well here. You can see here's Trayvon getting up in his face. If he gets his hands in the air and elevates.
Ooh, that's pretty late getting in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close, but, you know, you can't, like I said before, got to let the big dogs eat.
Okay. They send Ryan Moss wide to the near side of the football field along with Darren Wagner. On the draw play, that's number 4, Andy Avalos, that time with the football. So Avalos, they tried to mix it up a little bit, and Cedric Oliver brought him down.
I tell you, Robbins is not well there. He's still limping. There's something definitely wrong with him. We'll see if he can work that out as the time goes by.
3rd down and short, a little less than 3 yards to go. And as you said, Carl, the Panthers don't want to let the Cougars get too far out in front. They are an explosive team, Corona is, but so is Rancho Cucamonga. They can put some points on the board, and they're not going to stop at 19. There goes Avalos one more time. That's Davis, and a flag goes up at the end of the play, and that could be a face mask.
Usually where it happens, there at the end.
Oliver on the tackle again for the Cougars. And that's what it's going to be. So that's going to be a big one. Tack on 15 more yards. First real big penalty of the ball game. The Panthers had one that moved them back a little bit, but that one's after a pretty good run by Davis. So what was a 6 or 7 yard run becomes about a 22-yard gain for the Panthers. Well, the Panthers need to get some points going just to feel like they're back in the ball game. Line of scrimmage will be the Corona 42-yard line. Gibbons back, wants to throw, has time, and it's complete to Wagner. Wagner gets down inside Rancho Cucamonga territory before Brandon Parker makes the tackle for the Cougars.
Well, you can see Michael Moon here. If we can see this, Michael slips on the soft turf out there, and that's why this is wide open. He's running a crow route here. Protection holds up a little bit, and there you see Moon, who had slipped. So
he gets by Relaford. Nice open field tackle by Parker. First and 10, 39, 38-yard line. So the Panthers on the move. Their first real drive of the ball game. There goes Davis. He'll keep going to that. He'll go to that well all night long. It's just like that. He picks up 4 or 5 yards. He's so quick through the hole. Trayson Lewis making the stop. Second down, 6 yards to go. Not bad to have that all throughout a night when you got a guy like him.
Right, and this is an impressive drive. They got helped a little bit by the penalty, but it looks to me like they're waking up a little bit, and they certainly need to if they're going to get back in this game.
Well, John Brandon, he's been here before in the playoffs. Corona trying to get to the semis for the first time since '94. The Cougars were there last year, and Gabriel Robbins draws the Cougars offside. And Robbins, I don't know if he's just going on adrenaline or what, but that limp seems to have gone away. Amazing what that can do.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, Carl, also that you don't want to score too many points. Sometimes that's not always a good thing because, one, you might wake up the other team, but it also might make yourself a little bit complacent.
No doubt about it. When you score real early in the game, it's almost worse than if you just control the ball a little bit.
And there's the fumble again, and the Cougars have recovered another Corona Panther fumble.
Now this will get you in trouble. They're moving the football nicely. Now when this starts happening, now you're going to look back at this game afterwards and say, we made too many mistakes.
Chris Relaford, number 1, falling on the second fumble by Tony Davis tonight. Wow, and that nullified a very impressive-looking drive by the Panthers.
Well, we had the same trouble last week. We made a close game out of it when it shouldn't have been a close game with College of the Desert because we turned the ball over in the first half.
So Fotia has his troops ready to go. First and 10 at the Cougar 28-yard line. Straight up the middle, breaking loose, number 46, and wrapping up the football, that's Ryan Perez. Jason Coletti making the stop, but a big gain on his first carry tonight. And wow, you talk about players stepping up. But I have to laugh about that. I don't know if you caught the Monday night, not the Monday night football game, but a game that on Thanksgiving Day, Carl, John Madden was talking about players that have to step it up. And he said, he says, well, geez, where were they before? Why'd they have to step up if they had it in it? But in a case like this is a kid who doesn't get the snaps.
No, and like I said, they are come up with a nice little scheme to keep them honest. And look at, they're just banging it in there. He's like the bus.
And plays like this, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're setting something up here with him.
They're going to punch in the middle a little bit here, and they're going to just keep squeezing Corona's defense, and they're going to tighten up, and you'll see Nick pull the football and run some type of option play.
Now, if you're Corona on defense, if you and I know that, well, let's put it, if I know that, you're expected to know it. But if I know something like that, these coaches up top, they're pretty aware of that as well, right?
Well, they are, but when a kid rips off 20 yards on you, you better do something to tighten it up. You just can't sit there and play that honest with them, otherwise they'll just keep ripping you up the middle.
Well, that hurts there. They Cougars assessed with a 5-yard penalty. So instead of 1st and 10, it would be 1st and 15. Key here, of course, is not to try to get it all in one play.
Well, Corona is playing so tight, they have 9 men almost on the line of scrimmage here.
And Fotia rolls. He wants to pass. Fakes the pass, and he'll be dropped. He was trying to go downfield. He was trying to get the ball out there to Wallem, but Wallem couldn't get separation. Boyer on the tackle.
Well, they had an awful lot of pressure on the line of scrimmage, and when you roll out, you cut the field in half as opposed to spreading the whole field. When a rollout pass is good if you can get people open on shortcuts, but it squeezes and condenses the field, and you have to really force the ball in there sometimes, and there was nobody open for Nick to throw it to.
So he loses a couple. It's second down, 17 yards to go as the first quarter is now down to 1 minute remaining. And it's 19-0 in favor of Rancho Cucamonga.
They got trips out here now, and they're going to use this whole field out here, I think. We'll see.
Will slant into Wallem. How in the world did he make that catch? McCorkle on the tackle. But what presence of mind and keeping your eye on the ball by John Wallem.
Kind of reminds me of that guy from Denver. What's his name?
McCafferty.
Yeah, a little bit of him. Look at this concentration. That's tremendous.
That is amazing. That's a big play because it sets up 3rd and 9 from 2nd and 17. So they picked up just about half of it.
And this is very doable for a Rancho team that can throw a football.
And once again, they are bunched up, like you said, very, very tight to the line of scrimmage. Single setback, Lotia straight drop this time. Pump fake, inside screen, and all kinds of running room. There goes Jarrett Brown for a touchdown. And boy, they are making it look easy.
Well, that was a little inside screen play to Brown where he comes back underneath, and it wasn't open initially, and Nick kept his poise and waited till he cleared some defenders and then dumped the ball to him, and there was nobody there to defend it. It was a great play.
Jarrett Brown, and he is so fast. He got outside, Carl. The only question was whether or not there was going to be a yellow hanky out there.
There wasn't. I mean, everything's going right for Rancho. This is kind of nice to see because there have been games where it hasn't gone right for them, but everything they're doing is turning to gold right now.
That's the final play of the quarter, but they'll attempt the extra point, and they'll try for 2. It's 25-0, and they've missed on 2 extra point tries. So Fatia has him ready, wants to throw, and he gets John Wallem for the 2 points.
It's like stealing candy when you got a fellow that tall.
Isn't it, though? And that's the end of the first quarter as the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars jump out to a huge 27-0 lead. We'll be back with the second quarter after this.
At Fritz Ford, nobody pays retail. That's right, at Fritz Ford in the Riverside Auto Center, all new and used vehicles are marked below factory suggested retail price or below Kelley Blue Book, so your savings are automatic the second you step on the lot. Located in the heart of the Riverside Auto Center, Fritz Ford is closer to everyone than anyone. And remember, at Fritz Ford, nobody pays retail.
I'm Dennis Rogers, baseball coach, Riverside Community College. When our players take the field, we want outstanding equipment on them. Ken's Sporting Goods has provided that the last 10 years.
Ken's Sporting Goods is the #1 team outfitter in the Inland Empire. We feature quality name brand gear for whatever sport you play. We offer in-house embroidering and screen printing for club, business, or school activities.
For quality service and dependability, go to Ken's Sporting Goods in Norco.
Well, I'd have to say that the first quarter, if you were scoring it as a fight, it definitely went to the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars. 27-0. Mark Abate has it teed up. It's going to come to McCorkle at the 6-yard line. McCorkle speeds across the 25, dances away. He's still on his feet, trying to get outside, and finally spun down at the 37-yard line by Cedric Oliver. One thing about these guys on kickoff returns, Carl, they are exciting. Every single time the Panthers have brought it back in a pretty good field position.
Well, it's a scary thing when you got a quality return man back there, and you know each time you got to go down there and stay in your lanes, as we say, and squeeze that ball and make sure that that guy doesn't pop through someplace and make a big one on you.
I think sometime tonight, look for the reverse from either McCorkle to Davis or vice versa. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. They trail 27-0. They have it 1st and 10 on their own 37. Davis into the middle. Not much there at all. Boy, John Brandon thinks he sees something. He wants a penalty called or something. He's 5 yards out onto the field.
Well, I'm watching Coach Beach on the other side, and they're substituting based on the situation, running people in and out of there, trying to get the right people in at the right time. Run defense at the first down, and now they're pulling them out and assuming they're going to throw the football.
I don't know what John feels that he saw there. This is a simple play right in the middle, unless he thought that there might have been a little face mask going on inside. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. They're going to have a little bit more than just Tony Davis here tonight, I think. Robbins, here comes Davis, right at you, trying to get outside. He's got great speed. He tried to straight on Brandon Parker, and Parker just wrapped him up, but it's not before Tony picks up a Corona Panther 1st down. You know, one thing in that first quarter anyway, Carl, it just seems like the Cougars are the faster cats here tonight.
Right, they're out there grabbing the mice. I mean, they're out there trying to catch mice, and they're running faster than the Panthers to try and get them, and they're getting them.
Seems like the Panthers might have had a little bit bigger feast on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, it's just a little team speed right now. But, hey, I'll tell you something. I saw this Corona team come back after Norco jumped right out on top of them and won that game, and Norco is one heck of a football team. 27-0, but boy, that's tough because you realize not only now do you have to score, but you've got to find out a way to stop the other team.
Right. Yeah, they must score. Maybe not on this possession, but they're going to have at least one score to stay in the ball game. You come back out here, lose by 27 down, second half. That's tough to overcome. That's
the officials are over talking to Pete Fotia on the sideline. Well, what they could be talking about. Maybe Rich Gardner can get us a report. Seems to be a lot of gamesmanship going on right now. They're talking with some of the assistant coaches over there, the Rancho Cucamonga athletic director.
I think they're just warning them sideline. This is a consistent problem on the visitor side. We have it when we travel. They start to crowd the line, and the people have to move the chains up and down the field. I don't know if that's the problem, but I know the white hat is over there talking to him. So maybe the line judge over there complained, and he come over to talk to him.
So the referee tonight, Leo Hendler, went over, had a conversation with Pete Fotia. We're ready to go. 1st and 10 for the Corona Panthers. Straight ahead one more time to Davis. Isn't it amazing? I mean, that didn't look like much, but he got close to 5 yards before Tuipulotu made the tackle.
Well, I think Rancho would be content for them to keep giving the ball to Davis as long as he gets 5 and not much more. I mean, that's good strategy on the part of Rancho if they can force him to do that.
Well, yeah, when you're up 27-0, you don't mind if the other team plays ball control, do you?
Right, absolutely not.
You're going to get it sometime.
Let that clock run.
And we're down close to 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Robbins to throw. He's got it complete to Andy Avalos, who breaks a tackle. Avalos hurdles another man down the sideline. What a fine, fine run by Andy Avalos before he's brought down by Adam Smoot.
Well, you'll see a missed tackle here. That was the big reason why the play worked. If we can see it again, it's a screen to Avalos, and you'll see him set up and dump it to him. And you're watching the picture here. A missed tackle that really hurt.
Right there, Carl, also on that replay. You know, Tony Davis's favorite ball player was Walter Payton, and one thing they always said about Sweetness was his great blocking ability. And on that play, in the corner of the screen, Tony Davis was blocking somebody and helped set that play up. Robbins to throw. He's got it complete to Barnett. And Barnett's got another Panther 1st down to the 13-yard line of the Cougars.
It's a nice play-action pass where they look like they're going to throw the ball to Davis in the flat, but instead they drag another receiver behind him and hit him.
Jeremy Barnett, a 6'1", 180-pound tight end. They've got a couple of tall guys. They've also got Ryan Moss, 6'3", 155. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Once again, this is their best drive. They were driving once before, lost the ball on a turnover. There's Davis. Davis off tackle. Davis down inside the 5, close to the goal line. Looks like it'll be enough for a first down.
Boy, they blocked that very well. There was some nice blocking up front on the part of Corona.
It'll be first and goal for the Corona Panthers. And as you said, they really need a score here, Carl. Much like a long-distance runner losing contact, they don't want to lose contact with the lead guy out there.
They need to reel them back in a little bit here.
Fotia with a long 68-yard touchdown run. Then the fumble recovery for touchdown by Cedric Oliver. Another touchdown by Fotia, and then the touchdown by Jarrett Brown. That's been it. And we're going to have a flag on the play.
Randy Lehman jumped off there a little anxious.
Well, that's tough when you're driving like that, isn't it?
Well, you don't need any interruption. I mean, it's tough enough getting down there as it is, and as time ticks off here, Corona can't afford any more mistakes.
One thing we saw when Corona played Norco, the first half was just back and forth, Carl, back and forth, scoring like you wouldn't believe. It was something like 39-34 at half, but the final score ended up being 49-40. What happens? Teams get kind of tired out there, don't they? Especially when you got so many kids that are talented and play both ways.
Well, I think you're right, and Rancho, though, I still think is pretty fresh, even though they have 27 points on the board.
The pitch to Davis. Davis trying to get outside. Good lateral pursuit by the Cougars, and they run him out of bounds. A flag trailing on the play. That could be a block in the back based on the way the play was running.
Usually when you string a play out like that, somebody's going to grab or push in the back. There's going to be something, especially where it was thrown.
It's going to go against the Panthers, and of course the Cougars will take it. Because once again, Carl, like you say, I mean, anytime you make them run one more play, that's another 10, 15 seconds off that clock. Here we see the play again. I don't think we're going to see the penalty.
No.
But I'm just
there. You go, right there.
There it is.
Sure, there it is. He's
Marvin Clark.
He's dancing with him. He's got him by the hips.
Tackled him. It was a good open field tackle there. But good lateral pursuit caused that penalty. So it's 2nd and 16 now. Robbins wants to throw, and his receiver fell down. It's incomplete. He tried to get it over to Wagner, and he slipped as he tried to cut it back in.
And so did the defender. It looks pretty slick out there now.
Robbins coming over to talk with John Brandon.
You know, they're still getting in the face of Robbins. Trezon has been right in his face there each time he's thrown the football, so they're getting pressure on him, but that was a nice ball. It just wasn't caught.
And Robbins looking confused. They're going to run out of time here. They only get, what, 30 seconds to get a play off? And they're going to get they're dangerously close to getting assessed for a delay penalty right here. Robbins has him up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 16. He got the play off. He's being chased. Davis trying to throw a block. He throws downfield for Wagner. No. Incomplete.
No, totally out of bounds. Almost in the broad jump pit over there.
So they'll try a field goal. It'll be a very long attempt for a field goal now for the Corona Panthers.
This is big right here, Rod, because if they can shut them out here, take the ball over and do something with it. I mean, if they can go in at halftime up 27-0, that's tremendous, especially for a team like Corona, who's supposed to be a high-powered offensive team.
So Steve Quintero will attempt the extra point. Now, when Norco played him, they pulled off a great fake field goal, but I don't think they're going to do it here. They need to get something on the board, but it's going to be a long one. They'll set it down at the 27. It's a 37-yard attempt. It's long enough, and it is no good. It actually died. 8:08 remaining. We'll be right back.
8 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the first half here at Panther Stadium.
I'm John Reinhold, girls varsity basketball coach at North High School. Whenever my team takes the floor, I want them to have the best equipment possible. That's why we buy our uniforms and equipment from Ken's Sporting Goods.
Ken's Sporting Goods is the #1 team outfitter in the Inland Empire. We feature quality name brand gear for whatever sport you play. We offer in-house embroidering and screen printing for club, business, or school activities.
For quality, dependability, and service, go to Ken's Sporting Goods in Norco.
So that 37-yard field goal attempt, when Quintero first hit it, it looked like he had plenty of foot, but that ball, Carl, just died as it neared the end zone.
If you looked at the rotation of the ball, it looked like a saw. It was spinning awful fast, and sometimes that's not a true strike of the ball by the foot when it's spinning that fast.
Second down, 5 yards to go. A pickup of 5 on the first play from scrimmage for the Cougars, who take over on downs, and what a huge defensive stand. Inside, there goes Ryan Perez. Boy, he is a load, isn't he? Ryan Perez brought down by Avalos. Perez, 5'7" and 200 pounds. Built low to the ground and a lot of beef there, too.
Again, a good mixture of plays. They're doing the right thing here with the loss of their backs. They're spreading Corona out and forcing the front 5 or 6 to defend that running play.
And 1st and 10, and now the Cougars most likely would like to try to grind it out a little bit, but that could really lull the Panthers into looking for it. Once again, the Panthers really up close to the line. Nobody back deep. Fotia to Jared Brown, cuts it back inside. There's nobody there to stop him. There he goes. He's going to get a block downfield. Brown is going to find the corner and score.
No flags.
No flags, and getting downfield, helping him out, doing a great job. Looked like Adrian Villarreal, I believe. I'm trying to see if that's who that was. It was. Number 10 got down and ran some interference for Jared Brown. Once he got through, Carl, because with the Panthers playing everybody up close, there was nobody left to get him.
Telling you, it's not the same Rancho team we're used to seeing, but it's a great looking one.
Wow. I mean, this Corona Panther crowd is just shell-shocked.
Yeah. And it's a crowd, too. They're filled up. It's packed.
Oh, they're packed. And across the way, a good group of folks have made it down from Rancho Cucamonga, and well, they should. Their team made it to the semifinals last year.
Okay.
And the point after is good. 6:47 to go in the first half. Rancho Cucamonga 34, Corona nothing. We'll be right back.
Empire Nissan is the #1 seller of Nissans in the Inland Empire. The all-new 2000s are here, but we also have a huge selection of used cars. Take advantage of our first-time buyer financing. What's more, high school students and their families get fleet sale prices when they see Joe Sartor or Pervez Wazi. Empire Nissan is located in the Ontario Auto Center. Mention this ad at the time of purchase, and Empire Nissan will donate $100 to the high school of your choice. Empire Nissan is your hometown dealer, and that's why we're...
Ever hear this? Jack of all trades, master of none. Like if you needed brain surgery, would you go to a general practitioner or a brain surgeon? Obvious answer, right? So why would you go to a department store to buy tires? Ooh, nice.
At Tire Pros, we're tire and wheel professionals with the biggest selection, the lowest out-the-door prices, and people who are experts at taking care of your car.
If you need pliers, come here. But if you need tires, there's only one place to go.
Tire Pros, nobody beats our selection, and nobody beats our prices.
Junior Markabate has it teed up at the 40-yard line, 34-0. That's Jared Brown's number 34. Fitting that he scored the touchdown that led to it. That's McCorkle from the 4, and he falls at the 10-yard line. And wow, I'll tell you, when it's going bad, it just goes bad. Carl, do you think there's any chance that the Panthers were, I don't know, looking past the Cougars in any, I mean, I don't think that's possible in the playoffs, is it?
You know what, this second round, the quarterfinal round, is such an interesting round. It falls on Thanksgiving weekend. You have to do a great job with your players to keep them focused on what's going on.
Well, Rich Gardner's got some parents that were focused. They're giving some good wishes to their kids. Let's go down to Rich right now.
Well, thanks, Rod. We want to thank the parents of Darren Wagner, or actually the Grandma Dingle and PJ Cash. That's what it says, guys, Grandma Dingle. And Cody Nunley is being sponsored by Jim, Debbie, and Zach, Uncle George, and Aunt Bev. Heath Farwell is being sponsored in the game tonight by Grant and Brittany. And April Pillow That's what it says here. It's sponsored by Pam Pillow. Maybe she's one of the cheerleaders. And last but not least, Nate Lorge is being sponsored by Mom, Dad, and Christian. And a special thanks to the Corona Booster Club for rounding up all those parent sponsors. Back to you, Rod.
Thanks, Rich. Inside pitch goes to Tony Davis. Nothing happening at all as he's brought down that time by Adam Smoot, and on the play before, playing a monster game defensively right now inside, Carl, Elias Tuitupo, and we've seen him do it before.
Well, they are focused on Davis. They know he's a big part of their offense. You take away Davis, and you've taken away an awful lot of Corona's potential to score, and it looks to me like they're just spying him and controlling him in terms of not letting him out.
Third down, 16 yards to go. Gibbons has to throw. He's got a man, that's Wagner, complete, and that's going to be close to a first down. I think he may have gotten enough. Big pass play on third down.
I'll say he's short.
From the 19 for the Panthers.
Okay, you're saying he's short, and you're right. 4th down and 2. And you know, Carl, you see Gibbons on that. I mean, Robbins, I just don't think I agree that he's not healthy. There was nothing on that ball.
No, he's done something to his foot, and it, you know, he could have a fracture.
He is really, I mean, he's gaming it.
Yep.
Barnett in to do the punting. A Panther late getting out onto the field, and it's a fake. They try to pick up the 1.5 yards. It is going to be close. They got it. Yep. They pulled that play off so well. Actually, I misspoke earlier. I said it was a fake field goal. That is what they tried against Norco, and it worked to perfection then. That was for a big gainer.
Well, they have nothing to lose right now, down by 34. They've got to do something and get some points here in this before they go in at halftime.
4:52 to go in the half. They got to move the ball up the field now. Ryan Moss wide to the near side, along with Darren Wagner. Little play action. Gibbons throws to the far side. He's got his man complete. That's Barnett, but it's only a pickup of 2. He threw the ball about 45 yards.
Just a very solid tackle there.
Adam Smoot.
Yep, Adam had him, and he held him to a minimal gain. That's pretty outstanding when you get a big linebacker like Adam in there covering a fleet-footed receiver-type person.
Barnett, the tight end, and Adam Smoot up to the task. The crowd, as you can tell by the picture shaking there on the screen, they're rattling the bleachers. They want to get their team going. Inside pitch to Davis. Nothing going at all. A monster hit. That's Eliseo Cabildo. Wow.
Well, Cabildo atoned for that missed tackle earlier on number 4. He certainly spied him and did a great job of not allowing Davis to go anywhere with that. That was a shovel pass.
He stopped him in his tracks. They tried to run back basically the play that Jared Brown scored on. There you see the inside pitch. Look at this hit. Boom.
Tremendous. Loss. Threw him for a loss.
3rd down and 13 yards. That's second or third time they've thrown Davis for a loss. He's not used to that. Pass is almost intercepted by Marvin Clark. Tried to get it in to Brian McCorkle. Excellent coverage.
Got to punt it here. Can't take this chance, or they could be down by 41.
So the Cougar defense, and Pete Foti had said his best defense might be his offense. But heck, Carl, the defense hasn't given up anything, have they?
I've seen the Rancho defense come up with good defensive schemes and just shut people out over the last 4 years that I've been around Chafee, and they do a great job on defense. When they got you dialed in, they're gonna put you away.
Well, they want to talk about this one so they don't get burned again on a possible fake. There's 3:29 to go in the first half. 34-0 Rancho Cucamonga. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Jim Clover. I'm at the Sport Clinic in Riverside, California. We use Ken Sporting Goods for 2 reasons. One is they have access to the best uniforms, and secondly, they have the best sales staff in the whole Inland Empire.
Ken Sporting Goods is the #1 team outfitter in the Inland Empire. We feature quality name brand gear for whatever sport you play. We offer in-house embroidering and screen printing for club, business, or school activities.
For the last 10 years, Ken Sporting Goods has been the supplier for the Riverside County All-Star Football Classic, and we wouldn't go anyplace else.
Hungry? Then spend some time at the lake. Lake Alice Trading Company. Come to the lake and experience what's new. The latest creations from our world-class chef. Delicious combinations of steak, seafood, and pastas, plus all your traditional favorites. Celebrate birthdays, retirements, and promotions. Enjoy all the lake has to offer. Lake Alice Trading Company, Riverside's favorite place for great food, friends, and fun.
There you see one of the Corona Panther cheerleaders. Not a whole lot to cheer about here tonight. Barnett back to punt the ball away. He'll put it in the air from his own 8. A booming punt. What a great kick. Moon calls for the fair catch, lets it bounce, and it'll be downed at the 44-yard line. That was a beautiful punt by Jeremy Barnett.
Well, he hung it up so high that Moon did the right thing. He slowed people down a little bit and gave it a fair catch signal and just let the ball bounce. They're going to have great field position here. They play on half a football field with 3 minutes left.
3:18. And as we saw last week with Rubidoux, that's what really led to them scoring so many points. As Coach Cochran pointed out, in the first half, they were playing on half a field.
Well, you know, they haven't run that option pitch play as of late. Don't look like they're going to do it now.
Little change in the defensive alignment as they got somebody back deep now. Jarrett Brown.
Oh, here we go.
There he goes. Handoff inside, Tui Tupo. And Tui Tupo picks up 8 yards. And Diabolos, the linebacker, trailing the play, brings him down.
Trap play up the middle to the fullback. Corona hasn't been able to stop it. They're playing an even man front, and you've got your center blocking off and trapping one of those inside people, and the fullback's just running right up between them. Here we go.
Tui Tupo playing a whale of a ball game so far.
Nice trap on 47, turns it up in the middle there. Tell you, Corona's in trouble right now.
They haven't been able to stop the Cougars, and they've been stopped themselves when they've had scoring opportunities.
Okay, now they're bunched up again, Rod.
2nd down 3. God, you got to love this kind of a situation. Quick slant in. It's complete to Jarrett Brown. They are not going to catch him. Touchdown, Cougars.
That's complete to number 34, Jarrett Brown.
Wow. Unbelievable performance here tonight by Rancho Cucamonga. Everything's working.
Well, they ran a power I formation. They got Corona to bite on it, just like teasing the kid with candy. They all bunched up in there. He had one-on-one with Brown, and Nick just throws a simple slant and throws it very effectively and with some velocity, and Brown catches it and runs up the field and scores. It looks pretty simple to me right now.
So Flatia's thrown for 2. And run for 2. Just a great performance here tonight. Has them ready. They'll go for 2 one more time. And straight ahead, it looks like they got in. They did. That was Joe Valerie with his first carry of the night, and he picks up 2 points. 2:26 to go in the first half. 42-0. Rancho Cucamonga on top of Corona.
The perfect holiday gift is a memory video by Digital Gateway. Imagine the world premiere of your memory video just in time for the holidays and starring you and your family. Digital Gateway can transform your photos and slides into a video montage of memories. Call 980-7808 now. A video memory is coming soon to a home near you. Why not make it yours?
I have a confession to make. I love my new car, but I love the Daewoo difference even more. My new Daewoo includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile limited warranty, scheduled maintenance, and 24-hour emergency roadside service. And I feel, well, guilty. But I take a moment and I remind myself it's good to try something new. Daewoo in the Ontario Auto Center, starting at $89.99, nicely equipped. Daewoo.
I got to tell you something, Carl. I am as shocked as these Corona Panthers. I know how explosive Rancho Cucamonga could be, but they are just putting on a show. and that one goes into the end zone. McCorkle drops back into the end zone to make the reception, and the Panthers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, and they really have to get something going. It's 42-0, and you even want to make a showing in the second half. You know they're not going to quit. There is going to be no saying uncle out here right now. I mean, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room and hear what Coach Brandon has to say to his troops at halftime.
You can't spot someone that many points, and it just the normal mechanics of the game chews up time. And for them to be down 42-0 at half, it's virtually impossible to be able to come back unless the other team just falls apart, and I don't think that's likely. So they better get a score here if they can do it.
That's Wagner. Might have a flag there. Looked like a block in the back. Wagner gets it up close to the 25-yard line. Pick up a 5, so it'll be 2nd down and 5.
Clock's ticking.
But they do need to pick up either first downs to stop the clock or get out of bounds. Because it's not just the mechanics, as you say, Carl, but it's also the emotional level that you're going to fall to being down this many points. Hard to get back up.
It's a lot of points. I mean, it is a lot of points. It would be different even if it was 30-0, but 42 is an awful lot.
Well, and it's big to have the two successful conversions on the 2-point tries now as they've got back online. It is now 6 touchdowns. Gibbons to throw. He's trying to go deep to Wagner. There were 3 defenders down there, and Wagner still had a chance to make the catch. It'll be 3rd down and 6 yards to go.
Then you also run the risk of another turnover. You got to be careful about that too. But the way that Rancho is scoring, they're really slicing them. It's not like they're they're lucking out or anything like that. They're designing things and making things happen, and it's just stunning Corona. They don't know what to do.
And the winner of this game goes on to meet the winner of the Temecula Valley and Rubidoux football game. And we saw Rubidoux, and a lot of people say Temecula Valley will have their way with them, but I'll tell you, that Rubidoux team looked mighty good last week. Handoff inside, nothing going the Panthers' way. Perez making the tackle.
It's just almost like they got a magnet on him, you know. Perez and Smoot, both those guys, they may be I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like they're always involved in tackles on Davis.
4th down, 8 yards to go. And even though, yeah, you'd figure that it's four down football, you got to give the ball back.
Well, you know, and Gabriel Robbins, when he goes in at halftime, the way he's limping now, he is going to stiffen up even more than what he feels right now when he goes and sits down for a while.
Barnett will punt the ball. This time it's a low kick. It'll bounce. Moon's going to go ahead, and he called. That's an interesting play. He called for the fair catch and caught it on a bounce.
Yeah, and fortunately, the Corona people pulled off, and Moon just stayed there. I guess they could have drilled him, but they didn't.
They could have pretty much put him out for the game.
Well, I think they were as stunned as Moon was, and the official, he didn't help him out. He waited a while to blow the whistle.
About 50 seconds remaining, and boy, I tell you, you see the sad look on that cheerleader, and you could just look on every face here on the Corona Panthers side. They look the same.
Let's see if Nick goes up here. Let's take the ball up in the air again. Now he's going to run it.
Now they're going to run it right into the middle. And you have to think here, that's Tui Tupou. I mean, and he's capable of breaking it as well. But 42-0, and when you think Pete's figuring, why wake somebody up? Why tick them off? I know
could be
the points to score points. I understand that. That's the objective of the game.
I don't know. I don't even know if throwing the ball right now would wake Corona up.
21 seconds. This will most likely be the final play of the first half. Handoff straight ahead. Tui Tupou, very sure-handed.
Look at him push.
Picks up another 3 yards inside. Very soft-spoken young man, but boy, he plays very, very loudly out on the football field. 2 seconds, 1. That's the end of the first half. What a marvelous offensive display and defensive display. Let's not forget that, Carl. Yeah, it's 42-0, but for that goose egg to be up there against a team that features the likes of Tony Davis and Gabe Robbins and Ryan Moss and Darren Wagner, that defense for Rancho Cucamonga has come to play equally as much. Rich Gardner's trying to get Pete Fotia over to talk to us before he heads into the locker room at halftime, and it's going to be interesting to see what Pete has to say. He's got to be just ecstatic, Carl, with the performance of his team so far in this ball game.
Well, it's a lot easier to talk to the TV people when you're up by 42.
Not surprisingly, John Brandon wanted to get into the locker room and talk to his players. Rich looks like he's got Pete Fotia over there ready to talk. Let's go down to Rich Gardner if he's ready to talk to the head coach from Rancho Cucamonga, Pete Fotia.
We're not ready, no audio. No audio.
I guess they're not quite ready yet.
Well, I know that Pete's got to be thinking some pretty good things about his team right now.
Yep, you know, 42-0. It's not like he has to hurry in there. I would imagine one thing he's going to tell him in the locker room is don't get complacent, take care of the football when we have it, and just keep doing what they're doing on defense. They've done everything right on defense, and the score says it all, 42-0. Let's go down to Rich Gardner with Pete Fotia.
In the headset. Pete Fotia, a 42-0 lead. Offensively, you got to be very pleased, but more impressively, defensively holding this outstanding Corona team to 0 points.
Yeah, it was a great first half, but we've learned the hard way this season. You don't take anything for granted. We had Etowanda, we were way up on them, and we almost let them off the hook. We had Altaloma on the ropes, and we didn't knock them out. So it's nice to have a 42-point cushion, but we're not taking anything for granted. We're going to come out and play hard.
Hey, Pete, I'm going to let you get back into your voice. Once again, Pete Fotia there, a 42-0 Rancho Cucamonga lead over the #1 seeded Corona in Division 5. We'll be back with more of the halftime show right after these words.
Discover Castle Park, Southern California's best-kept secret. With over 30 rides, shows, and attractions, and no admissions charge. It's the affordable family theme park. Kids get unlimited rides for just $12.99, and adults do it all for just $14.99. From 400 games to magic shows and special events, it's just plain fun for the whole family. Castle Park, the undiscovered treasure off the 91 freeway between Riverside and Corona next to Tyler Mall. Castle Park, the secret is out.
Since 1966, Enterprise Chevrolet has been your hometown dealer, providing unbeatable Chevy deals to keep you coming back.
I bought my first car from Enterprise Chevrolet in 1972, a Malibu, and my family and I have been coming back ever since.
You've got to come into Enterprise Chevrolet and experience the brand new 1999 Silverado with an even roomier extended cab, several new safety features, and an entirely new engine. Catch the new 1999 Silverado at your hometown dealer, Enterprise Chevrolet, on Foothill, just east of Mountain in Upland.
The high school game of the week is brought to you by Alliance Transmissions of Riverside, AMF Riverside Lanes, Arlington Mortuary, Castle Amusement Park, Country Time RV Center, and by Fritz Ford.
Back here at Corona High School, a 42-0 Rancho Cucamonga lead, joined by one happy alumni and one very depressed alumni. I'm going to start over here with a Corona alumni, Big Shane Lehman, All-State lineman last year, now over at UCLA. How are things going at UCLA? I understand you're taking the year off as a redshirt.
Yeah, it's been a great year. I redshirted, so I just lifted weights and learned the system. You know, the playbook's about 3 inches thick, and just got bigger and stronger. And just learned how things go down there, and hopefully next year going into spring ball, I'll be able to get a starting spot.
Well, it obviously hasn't been a great year for the UCLA Bruins, but you have to like the future with young running backs like Deshaun Foster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this year was just a rebuilding year for us. We're so young. In the next 2 years, I mean, we're going to be great. I mean, we're going to have a good offensive line, but. This year, just like I said, was a rebuilding year, and we have 3 great running backs, and we have quarterbacks that are young, a line that's young. Everybody's young. Everybody's coming back, and I'm really excited for the years to come.
And do you want to make a comment on TV about this first half performance? I know you're not too happy about it.
Rancho Cucamonga, they came out to play, and I don't know if our guys were expecting to come out here and not even have to try to win this game, but they came out here to play, and I think our guys are in shock right now, and hopefully they're going to come out in the second half and get something together and get something going.
Well, I'm sure Coach John Brandom in there isn't exactly having tea and crumpets with him. Perhaps he's reading him the riot act. But anyway, best of luck to you in your career at UCLA in the future. Once again, Shane Lehman graduated last year over at UCLA. Now over here we have Deontay Whitaker, the Inland Valley's all-time leading career rusher, as I believe. Now over at San Jose State. Deontay, how are things going for you at San Jose State?
Well, they're going really well. We had a terrible season this year, but hopefully we're getting better, getting stronger. Just got to come out and start playing more football than messing around.
And talking with Coach Pete Fotia earlier in the week when he mentioned you might be in town, he said that you've actually suffered an injury which sidelined you for the rest of the year, but you were having quite a good year. How did your year go so far?
My year at the beginning was going really well. I was up there ranking very high with some of the best players in the nation, then suffered the ankle sprain and had to sit out for about a month. Tried to come back for the last 2 games, but it wasn't really happening.
And what do you think of Rancho Cucamonga's team this year? Obviously a very good night for them.
Oh, yes, a very good night, as the scoreboard shows and everything. They're just out here playing very well. You got Pete Fotia, son, throwing the ball very well. I mean, you got Pablo Moran, you got everybody just running. They're working out here as a team. Real good football team this season.
Okay, once again, this is Deontay Whitaker, now over at San Jose State. Class of '97 for the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars. By the way, he's one of the all-time leading scorers in state history. We're going to be back with more of the halftime show right after these words.
Why are more people joining?
I didn't have to worry about financing because I handled it all with the credit union. The rate was excellent. I like that.
They make you feel comfortable, and it's very quick service. We got the loan, and it's made very easy.
When I walk in the credit union, I feel they are my friends and that they will take care of me, and they always have.
Riverside County's credit union really is the place where people come first.
Easy to join. The Riverside County's credit union.
My husband and I never realized that we could both be buried at Riverside National Cemetery. When John died, all it took was one phone call to Arlington Mortuary.
Whether you're a veteran or the spouse or widow of a veteran, you are entitled to both burial and cremation benefits. Call 1-800-ARLINGTON now to receive your free information packet concerning veterans' benefits. Remember, a lack of knowledge can mean loss of benefits. Call now 24 hours a day at 1-800-ARLINGTON.
Well, the two teams are just about ready to come back out onto the field, and recapping the scoring in the first half. Right at the beginning, Nick Fotia broke loose on a 68-yard touchdown run at 10:56 to go in the first quarter, and Rancho broke out on top 7-0. And then Ryan Perez galloped in after recovering a Tony Davis fumble, and it made it 13-0 as the extra point attempt failed. Fotia back with 13 yards, 4:57 to go first quarter, 19-0 as the two-point try was unsuccessful. Jarrett Brown on a 40-yard run in the first, at the end of the first quarter, and that put Rancho on top 27-0. Once again, it was Brown, 6:47 to go. And then in the second quarter, wrapping up the scoring, Jarrett Brown one more time. A big gainer, another touchdown, and it put Rancho on top by a score of 42-0. Taking a look at the M.K. Smith game summary in the first half. First downs, 9 for the Cougars, 218 yards rushing, 162 through the air. Look at that, 381 total yards. That is impressive. 50 yards in penalties for the Panthers. 11 first downs, but all that has done is chewed up clock. 32 yards rushing, 70 through the air, 102 total yards, 25 yards in penalties, but they trail 42-0. Stranger things have happened. We'll be back with what we hope will be an exciting finish, a great second half of action here on the Game of the Week when we return to Corona High School right after this.
it's going to take all day.
How long will the repairs take?
Ask him how much it's going to cost.
I'll get to that.
Behind every transmission repair, there are a lot of questions. At Alliance Transmissions of Riverside, transmissions are all we do, so we get the job done right the first time, with no hidden costs and no unnecessary repairs. Come in now for our special transmission service. Our trained technicians will take the time to explain your repairs, and we'll get the job done when promised. Call Alliance Transmissions of Riverside. We're your neighborhood transmission service center.
Fleetwood, Sandpiper, Wildwood, they're all here. They're all priced to sell at the #1 RV dealer on the West Coast, Country Time RV Center. We've got every kind of RV you're looking for whatever kind of camping you're into. Now's the time in the season for sport utility trailers. At Country Time RV Center, you can find a huge selection of fifth wheels, travel trailers, and toy haulers, with all the features and comfort you need for an exciting getaway. We'll see you there at Country Time RV Center, Indiana Avenue off the 91 freeway in Riverside.
The high school game of the week is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods, Lake Alice Trading Company, Muller Hood Pontiac Buick, Riverside County's Credit Union, Bud's Tire Pros, and Rancho's Southwest Grill.
We are just about ready for the kickoff of the second half, and at least it'll start in a good way for the Corona Panthers, and they catch a little bit of a break as they deferred at the beginning of the ball game. They will receive the kickoff to start things here in the second half. And what a show Nick Fotia and Jarrett Brown put on in that first half, Carl.
Well, I tell you what, I'm excited for them because I know how important this quarter round is to get to that semifinal round. Once you can get to that semifinal, anything can happen, and I know that they've got to be really happy with how they're playing. They've got to guard against some complacency, as Coach Fotia said, but I think they will. I think this looks like a different Rancho Cucamonga team than I've seen the last 2 or 3 times.
Well, and defensively, they are playing the best game, obviously. I mean, we saw them shut out Redlands, a Division I football team over at the University of Redlands, so we know they're capable of it, but even though Redlands is in D1, no one would ever mistake their offense with the Corona Panther offense.
Well, if I were a high school coach trying to prepare for them now with the addition of the option situation and the ability of Nick to throw to those receivers, Brown and Wallum and the rest of them, I would be really losing sleep over this one.
Tony Davis and Brian McCorkle will be back deep to receive the kickoff from Mark Abate, the junior kicker, who has it teed up and ready to go. And when we came out here at the tail end of halftime, when the Corona Panthers returned to the field, they turned the score off, and I think that was kind of, it might have been so that the players didn't have it staring right at them as they came onto the field from the west end of the field.
Maybe. You never know.
Any psychological edge you could give your team right now, I'm sure would be appreciated by
right now it's 0-0. They're playing 0-0 game.
It's a brand new ball game. But they're going to have to wake up and play, the Panthers are. McCorkle will start it at the 5. And he slips one tackle, and then he's gang tackled and dropped at the 22-yard line. Alicio Cabildo leading the charge for Rancho Cucamonga. So Gabe Robbins will bring him out, and you, Carl, had talked at the end of the first half how Gabe Robbins might really tighten up at halftime, but obviously no quit in the young man. He's a senior. A lot of seniors on this team. Avalos, Davis, a lot of guys that aren't going to be coming back. I believe Avalos is a senior.
Yeah. This is a big series right here. This could tell the whole story right here as far as how Corona is going to approach the second half.
Avalos comes off the field. Robbins back, wants to throw. He's got time, and it's intercepted by Brandon Parker. And Parker gets it back inside the Panther 20-yard line.
Well, they don't have a choice. They have to throw the ball and get points. And exactly right. Now they made another big play, and they're probably going to go in and score again. This could be a big route.
Number 2, Brandon Parker.
Just an incredible turn of events here tonight at Corona High School. I don't think anybody would have thought this. Yeah, we expected an offensive performance, but by both teams. Nick Fotia has them ready at the Panthers' 17-yard line. Handoff inside, Tui Tupo. Not much there, but we've seen this time and again, Carl. They pound the middle for a couple, and then they pull it out, run the option, or that little slant in. Everything's worked. The inside screen, the slant pass. Tim Boyer making that tackle for the Panthers.
Well, Nick's done such a great job all year running the team. He's like a coach on the field and way more mature than his years, I know, as a football player.
Boone and Big John Wallum go wide to the far side. Brown and Villarreal come to the near side of the football field. Brown in motion. Brown with the football. Tries to cut it back inside, then explodes to the outside. And look at that. You talk about a kid really setting up his blocking and then exploding. Jason Coletti brings him down.
This is a version of a sweep play. I mean, they've improvised so well for this game from what we've seen in the past. They've got Brown doing things that he hadn't done before. Here you see a sweep-type play that Altaloma kind of is more famous for, I think. And he does a nice job of setting up his block and then cutting it back inside and making the big first down there. You'll see a nice block there by 66, I don't know his name.
66 out there, that was Brad Glover. 1st and 10 for Rancho Cucamonga. Pass to the corner of the end zone. He tried to get Wallum on the fade route. Unable to get it there. It's 1st and goal from the 9-yard line at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. The Panthers got the football, but they didn't keep it for long, throwing the interception. And the Cougars, already on top 42-0, have an opportunity to further pad that lead. They've got it bunched up. 3 backs behind Nick Fotia. He gives it to Tuitupo. Tuitupo pushes the pile down inside the 5. Great forward push by that offensive line. Desjardins making the stop.
And they're eating up some time, too. This is perfect for Rancho Cucamonga. They're going to chew some time up and perhaps come away with another score. And I really think another score, it may be already over with, but another score is definitely going to seal that coffin.
What a tough way to wrap things up for the Corona Panthers. Such an impressive season. And keep in mind, this is the #1 seed in Division 5, having this done to them here tonight. All the more impressive. Fotia rolls, wants to throw, and it's a touchdown to Treson Lewis.
I'll tell you, it looks so easy right now. I think Corona's just mentally gone. And you could see a score in the 60s here if we're not careful.
5-yard touchdown pass. Nick Fotia to Treson Lewis. And right now, Carl, you know, the first game that we saw with Rancho Cucamonga, Canyon Springs, they were way out in front. They left Michael Moon in, lost him for 3 games after that. And I know I'm nobody to be second-guessing anybody, but when you're up 48, possibly 49-0, do you start to think about bringing in some substitutes?
Well, you know what? I think, Rod, these seniors want to play. They want to play. This is it for them.
No doubt about that.
And I think that they've learned their lesson about subbing too early, so I don't think there's any doubt that that's not going to happen, at least for a little while yet. They got to get through this 3rd quarter, I think, before they even think about something like that.
Abate makes it 49-0. We'll be right back to Corona High School.
Successful social event can be very labor-intensive.
It was easy with Class A Party Supplies and Rental, and everyone's having a great time.
At Class A Party Supply and Rental, we'll coordinate everything, handle setup and delivery, so you can have a stress-free soiree. With our own supply store, we give you the best prices on everything you need for a rousing success.
This holiday season, call our party planners and make your party a stress-free success.
Class A Party Supply and Rental on Regis Court in Rancho Cucamonga, north of Foothill, west of Haven.
Rancho Southwest Grill and Bar, located on Hull between Tyler and La Sierra, just around the corner from the Galleria. You'll be glad you chose Ancho's.
49-0. Mark Abate has it ready to kick off again. He's going to get tired from kicking off tonight.
Getting a lot of work, isn't he? And the kickoff coverage team is getting some work.
Well, this time they switch it up and they go to McCorkle. And here's that reverse we talked about. They give it to Davis. Davis out in the open field, and he is frightening, but there's a flag on the far side as it was a forward handoff. He cut in front of him, and you can't do that.
Can't do it. And you'd think that they would have talked about that, but it's a subtle thing, but you're not allowed to hand the ball forward.
Forward handoff. Carl, when we were away, you talked about the plays that the Cougars are running here today.
Well, the fact is, when they exchange film with the other team, their opponent for the playoffs, Corona's getting some tape that probably, now maybe I'm all wrong because I haven't seen Rancho play in the last week or so, but there's some plays being run tonight that aren't on tape. At least I didn't see them before, and I think that Corona preparation for Rancho that may have been skewed a little bit because a lot of these plays look to me like they're fairly new and very innovative.
And Carl, with the ball now down inside the 1 yard line, what a horrible place to start for the Corona Panthers. Robbins to throw, and it's almost intercepted again by Marvin Clark. He tried to get it into McCorkle. My theory on that, Carl, when you're in a division like Division 5, where they're taking 4 teams from the leagues that are participating, 2 wins get you in there. It's not like if you're a team like Rancho Cucamonga that you got to go that deep into your playbook to make it to the playoffs. A couple of wins get you there. You don't really need to show everything to get 2 victories.
Well, I know, but remember those 2 backs have been lost to Rancho, and I really think that forced Coach Engels and their staff to do some work. And
isn't that amazing? They're minus Moreno and McKinley and putting on this kind of a show. There's Avalos, and Andy gets across the 5 to the 8 yard line, and they have really negated the running of Tony Davis and Andy Avalos. And what a great defensive scheme, bringing an extra defensive back in and assigning the linebackers to just focus in on Davis.
Well, it certainly worked. I don't know what the total yardage is, but I'll tell you what, Coach Brandon is going to be very disappointed in his output. But again, this is a mind game as well, and you got to be prepared mentally going in.
Well, I saw this team play Norco, and I don't think Davis was thrown for more than 1 loss all night. He's been thrown for 4 and 2 fumbles. There's a completed pass to Wagner and a first down for Corona. So they battle back after taking over 1st and 10 inside their own 1 yard line. But they got to get a lot more of that and in a hurry.
Yeah, they're going to keep everything in front. Don't give up any big plays. Let the clock run, and it's impossible to come back.
Well, one thing we saw, Carl, when Rancho Cucamonga had that lead against Altaloma, they went in the prevent win defense, but you can kind of do that up 49-0.
Well, they had, I think, a little different quarterback, too, in Altaloma.
Mr. Rogers, they were in his neighborhood. Little swing pass to Ryan Moss. Well, slant in anyway, and he's brought down after a pickup of about 6, and Cabildo making the tackle. So what you're saying basically is that the Cougars are willing to give up 6-7 yards of play till the game's over.
Well, or until the Panthers make a mistake. If they're going to throw the ball like that, something's going to happen wrong here. You know, what do they say of the 3 things that can happen in a forward pass? 2 of them are bad.
Oh, Woody Hayes from the Ohio State Buckeyes used to say that when his game plan was 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Robbins gets it to Barnett. Barnett tries to get around Parker, and he gets it up close to midfield, about the 44-yard line. They'll mark him down. And another first down.
Brandon Parker was playing just a little bit too much inside of him. There was an awful lot of room for that receiver to work. I don't know what Parker was thinking in his alignment, but he gave him a little too much space outside here.
Cedric Oliver was applying the pressure to Robbins. Nice tackle, though, by Parker.
Again.
He's 5'7", 155. He's given away a lot there. Barnett is 6'1", 180. Hand off to Davis. Davis, once again, just nothing there. I am just so impressed with the sure tackling, and that was Chris Relaford, and Relaford was a last-minute replacement on defense for the Cougars. He was put in place of Sam Thorpe. So they took Thorpe out of the linebacking spot and put Relaford in the defensive secondary, and boy, that was a sure tackle.
At the rate they're going, they're not going to have time.
Robbins throwing down the sideline, complete to Barnett. Mike Moon was on the coverage. Moon giving him a lot of room down there. That's a big gain. 6:23. The clock will stop as he got out of bounds, as well as picking up the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Cougar 27-yard line.
Well, I think the Cougars turned them away earlier, if I recall, if I'm not mistaken. So just because they're down there doesn't mean they're going to get in.
Well, the Panthers need to get something going. 49-0. They want to get some points. They give it to Davis. He's been their bread and butter all year long. Scored 20 touchdowns, and he's run out of bounds, just ran out of field. Brandon Parker had the angle on him. Great lateral pursuit again by that defense.
That was about a 30-yard run for a 1-yard, about a 4-yard gain.
Frustrating night for Tony Davis. Young man has rushed for 1,655 yards coming into the ball game, 20 touchdowns, but nothing here tonight. Just a great defensive plan put on the field by Rancho Cucamonga and their players executing it. That's the other piece of the puzzle, isn't it?
Well, and now I think, with this win, which it looks like they're going to get, that's got to give them a great boost going into the semifinals. And now they've got to guard against complacency. But going into the semis, I don't think you have to worry about being complacent.
Robbins back, wants to throw. He's got Avalos, and he's a big guy to bring down. Gets down to the 15-yard line. Brandon Parker makes the stop. But as you said, Carl, I mean, they're picking up 6 to 12 yards, and there's inside 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and 49-0 is 7 scores.
Well, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that normally the Rancho is going to gain a possession every time that Corona does score, unless they can onside kick successfully every time, and that's not going to happen.
There's the inside handoff to Avalos. Avalos breaks a tackle, spins free, gets down inside the 5-yard line. And Andy Avalos gives the Panther faithful something to cheer about. Oliver, 6'2", 205-pound junior, makes the stop. The winner of this game goes on to play the winner of the Rubidoux-Temecula Valley contest. And in the lower bracket, you have Norco playing Paloma Valley and Alta Loma playing Corona Centennial. A lot of great football games going on at the same time.
Boy, I'd sure like to see a Alta Loma Rancho final. That'd be great.
I'm sure our viewers on Channel 54 would love it, but our viewers on Channel 3 are saying, hey, we want to see Norco. There's Barnett with the touchdown. Jeremy Barnett, a 6-yard touchdown from Gabe Robbins. 5:13 to go in the third quarter. This game is being televised not only in Rancho Cucamonga on Channel 54, but as I mentioned on Channel 3 in Riverside and Norco. A lot of interesting possibilities as we have 4 teams from our 2 coverage areas playing tonight. So Quintero on to attempt the extra point, left-footed kicker. Well, you've got to start someplace, and getting 6 points and now 7 is a good place to start. 5:13 to go in the third quarter. It's now Rancho Cucamonga 49 and Corona 7. We'll be right back.
Since 1966, Enterprise Chevrolet has been your hometown dealer, providing unbeatable Chevy deals to keep you coming back.
I bought my first car from Enterprise Chevrolet in 1972, a Malibu, and my family and I have been coming back ever since.
You've got to come into Enterprise Chevrolet and experience the brand new 1999 Silverado with an even roomier extended cab, several new safety features, and an entirely new engine. Catch the new 1999 Silverado at your hometown dealer, Enterprise Chevrolet, on Foothill, just east of Mountain in Upland.
Been bowling lately?
Bowling is where it's at.
Going bowling is a cheap night out. I started bowling because he bowled.
Have fun. Take your family bowling today.
We do a lot of bowling together and we do a lot of bonding together that way, yeah.
You can bring your family here and no problem.
We can bring everybody. That's what's really good.
Bowling is fun.
We love this game! We love this game! It's fun. I like it. I love their french fries.
Well, they've got the good hands people up front anticipating either an onside kick or a pooch kick, and it is a pooch. It's an onside kick attempt, and the Panthers got it. Against Norco, Carl, the Panthers were successful twice on short kickoffs.
Well, it's exciting, but I'll tell you what, more power to them if they can come back from 42 down.
Well, Carl's the head football coach from Chaffee. So you know a lot about this Rancho Cucamonga team. And I think you mentioned that you wanted to take a moment and say hello to somebody out there.
Well, I have a very special friend, Karen, that I want to say hello to. It's Thanksgiving, and just want to say hi to her.
49-7. So, you know, stranger things have happened, Carl. You have to think that if the Panthers were able to run up a couple of scores here, it'd be 49-21 going into the fourth quarter. That's still a lot to make up. They've got to score 6 more times just to even it out. They got Wagner wide open, and he will score. And that, I don't know if that's going to be a flag or not. It would be in the college ranks.
The fact that he was going in, I don't think it matters. He can go in any way he wants as long as he's not taunting or doing anything like that.
So Darren Wagner diving into the end zone. So Grandma Dingle will be very happy about that one. But, oh, boy, at the center of the field, I don't know if our cameras can get it, but Gabe Robbins is being carried off of the field. He is in a lot of pain. Be interesting to see if he got hit
I think he
at
did.
the end of that play. Quintero on to attempt the extra point.
I think Trezon and Cedric Oliver both gave him a whack after he released the ball.
Looks like he's just trying to regain his senses. Have a flag on the extra point attempt. We don't want to have a repeat of what we saw last week. Rubidoux and in that football game, penalty after penalty on the extra point attempts.
Well, they may have set a record.
Last week, that was amazing when Rubidoux against Ontario. I think they must have had a combined 7 penalties on extra point attempts.
I think 4 on one attempt.
Well, we want to keep an eye on Gabe Robbins. Perhaps Rich Gardner can get us a report on his status, because, boy, he was in a lot of pain, but I don't see him.
No, he went back in. They're going for 2. That last play over there, Rod, someone blew a coverage in Rancho's, so that guy was too wide open. There's something wrong there. They'll adjust for that, I think.
Well, they'll need to. It's 49. And Davis goes in. Scoreboard is not correct. It should be 49-15. 5:01 remaining in the third quarter. Hold on, folks. We might have a ball game yet when we return to Corona High School.
At Fritz Ford, nobody pays retail. That's right, at Fritz Ford in the Riverside Auto Center, all new and used vehicles are marked below factory suggested retail price or below Kelley Blue Book, so your savings are automatic the second you step on the lot. Located in the heart of the Riverside Auto Center, Fritz Ford is closer to everyone than anyone. And remember, at Fritz Ford, nobody pays retail.
Ever hear this? Jack of all trades, master of none. Like if you needed brain surgery, would you go to a general practitioner or a brain surgeon? Obvious answer, right? So why would you go to a department store to buy tires? Ooh, nice.
At Tire Pros, we're tire and wheel professionals with the biggest selection, the lowest out-the-door prices, and people who are experts at taking care of your car.
If you need pliers, come here. But if you need tires, there's only one place to go.
Tire Pros, nobody beats our selection, and nobody beats our prices.
The clock kept ticking well after the play was blown dead, and I would be real upset if I were Corona, because there must have been about 6 or 7 ticks off the clock after he was tackled.
And you wouldn't think that would happen on your home field?
No, not at all. I think it'd be the other way. It might be a little slow starting.
Well, now, with that little thought in their head that, hey, this team's coming after us, puts a little bit of pressure on the offense of the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars.
Make first downs, Rod. Just make first downs. Doesn't have to be fancy.
That's Perez. Perez spins free, and he gets up to about the 25-yard line as the Panther crowd really getting behind their team. They know if they can stop the Cougars, make them go 3 and out, they have a chance to get the ball, and if they score, cut the lead to less than 28 going into the final 12 minutes. They're not the #1 seed for nothing.
Well, I know what it's like to squander a lead.
Fotia has them ready. 2nd down and 8. And Fotia breaks away. What an effort by Nick Fotia. Looked like he was going to be sacked for a loss. Got away. Cody Nunley finally brings him down.
Nick is such a competitor.
3:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Nick Fotia looking at the wristband, picking up a play. This is a big down right here. 3rd down and 7. The Cougars need to convert, or Big Mo will have really switched sides here in the 3rd quarter. Brown in motion. Fotia follows the block of Perez. Fotia is going to be dropped. And they'll have to punt the football.
That's a smart play on the part of Nick. He wasn't going to make a foolish throw. He wasn't going to throw the ball. He just went ahead and ate the ball, and, they're going to punt the ball away. They'll play defense.
Hey, Rich Gardner's got something for us down on the sideline. Rich?
Thanks, Rod. I just got back from the Rancho Cucamonga sideline, talked with Paul Engel, offensive coordinator. He said the biggest key to their success, of course, has been the offensive line working, as he says, their tails off, and Nick Fotia's ability to read zero coverage from their free safety and audible eyes at the line of scrimmage. He said that that's accounted for 6 big Rancho Cucamonga plays. Back to you, Rod.
Thanks, Rich. A low snap. It's handled by Moon. That's a big play. The ball will bounce, and it's picked up by McCorkle, and McCorkle is going to be ridden out of bounds on the far side of the field, but we have a flag back at the 34-yard line of Rancho Cucamonga. Michael Moon's ability to field that low snap was huge. Mike Smoot made the tackle for the Cougars.
And he got off a nice kick at, all right, clipping against Corona.
Oh, my goodness. What a bad time for that for the Panthers. Here they had all the momentum going their way, and McCorkle really got the crowd excited as he took that punt on the run. There you see on the far side there, everybody rolling out of bounds. The Corona fans wanted a flag for the late hit, but instead, it's going to go against the Panthers. Wow, look at that. All the way back to the 40-yard line. That's interesting because the flag was back there.
Well,
it was back in the Cougar territory.
It's from the spot of the foul, so I'm not sure where it took place.
So Robbins brings him out. Will they go deep with the pass again? He's looking for Avalos, and he's got him. Andy Avalos down the sideline, and a touchdown-saving tackle on the far side of the football field by Alicio Cabildo. Oh, my, we got something going now.
Well, for some reason, Rancho's having difficulty finding, getting the corner route covered. No matter who runs the route here, Avalos is running a corner route, as we call it. And Robbins is putting the ball nicely in there to him, and there's nobody covering him. I'm not sure why. I guess the linebacker is responsible for that back.
So rather than go to Davis, they're going to the receivers. A whistle before the play gets off. That will most likely go against Corona. That's one thing. What momentum and adrenaline will do will get you a little overly excited at the line of scrimmage. Interesting turn of events here, but instead it's the Cougars who are offside, and the Panther fans are loving it. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. I'll tell you something, Carl. if they were able to come back here, it would have to be one of the all-time greatest comebacks in high school football. I can't imagine a team coming that far back, especially in the playoffs.
I think it would be a CIF record, I think.
Hand off to Davis. Davis still on his feet, and he is wrestled to the ground at the 2-yard line. This whole place is shaking right now. The press box is shaking under our feet.
Well, it's emotion, you know, and if Rancho will gather themselves a little bit, kind of flick this stuff off and start playing defense again like they did originally, they'll be fine. But they cannot let this emotion get to them.
First and goal from the 1. A minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Robbins being chased, and he falls. It looked like his knee hit at the 3.
Well, they had an exchange problem here with Davis. He was going to give the ball to Davis, but penetration fouled that up. If we see it again on the instant replay, you'll see some great penetration. Here we go. And
Alice Cabildo getting in there. And he saw his knee hit as he was trying to get away from Lewis.
So it's a loss.
Leo Hendler, the referee, right on top of the play. A minute 7 to go. The clock is ticking. 49-15. Robbins wants to throw the fade. Wagner, touchdown! Darren Wagner with his second touchdown of the quarter. And with 54 seconds remaining in the third quarter, it's Rancho Cucamonga 49, Corona 21. And they're going to go for 2 again. Why not? They haven't been stopped yet.
Rancho's going to have to come out with a little offense this next series. Nick is going to have to do something, rolling out, whatever, to create some first downs. They just need to get a couple first downs and settle down the momentum and take back what they've had and get control of this game again. There's a fumble.
There's a fumble on the exchange, and that's a big break, and it is no good. The score remains Rancho Cucamonga 49, Corona 21. We'll be right back after these messages.
Why are more people joining?
I didn't have to worry about financing because I handled it all with the credit union. The rate was excellent. I like that.
They make you feel comfortable, and it's very quick service. We got the loan, and it's made very easy.
When I walk in the credit union, I feel they are my friends and that they will take care of me, and they always have.
Riverside County's credit union really is the place where people come first.
Easy to join. The Riverside County's credit union.
My husband and I never realized that we could both be buried at Riverside National Cemetery. When John died, all it took was one phone call to Arlington Mortuary.
Whether you're a veteran or the spouse or widow of a veteran, you are entitled to both burial and cremation benefits. Call 1-800-ARLINGTON now to receive your free information packet concerning veterans' benefits. Remember, a lack of knowledge can mean loss of benefits. Call now 24 hours a day at 1-800-ARLINGTON.
Another onside kick attempt, and this time the Cougars handle it. A late hit coming in from Eric Bello. Very close, and I think he got flagged for it. He came in very late. I don't know, I thought I saw a flag, but the Cougars did recover. The officials are talking about it at the 45-yard line. Relaford recovered.
Boy, that'll help Rancho right here. They'll have some great field position again now.
Unfortunately, Eric Bello came in there a little bit late. He didn't need to do that. The play was dead. When the knees are down in high school ball, the play's dead. So with 54 seconds remaining, and that's interesting, there's 54 seconds remaining when he kicked the ball. Well, hey, you know what? They got 6 seconds coming, Carl.
Well, yeah.
From earlier, a few moments ago.
They've lost some time.
Okay, so Fotia has them ready. The Cougars got check time. They've got to answer the call. Fotia tried the quarterback draw. Nothing there. And if they continue to go 3 and out, Carl, the Cougars are going to really give the Panthers an opening in this ball game.
Well, this time Nick did not set as deep as he normally does, and you got to set deep enough to allow the defensive lineman to push up the field, and so that your offensive lineman can funnel them. That was such a short set that there was no push up the field and no cracks for Nick to find. So he's got to set deeper if he's going to run that play.
So now you have to wonder, are they going to pass? Because if it's incomplete, then the final play of the quarter will still be with the Cougars having the ball. It's to Jarrett Brown. They've run this play before. Brown tries to get to the corner, gets outside, very close. No, they're going to say he stepped out at the 35, so not that close.
Well,
it looked like he picked up more. And boy, do you see that pursuit by the Panthers?
And I know Jarrett wanted to stay in bounds. He put the brakes on, but he got pushed out at the last few inches of the sideline there. So he wanted to stay in bounds and at least kill the quarter here. They don't need to be in a shell here. They need to go after it, throw the ball.
Yeah, you don't want to play not to lose here.
Right.
You want to keep doing what you did to get here.
They need a 6-yard, 7-yard gain right here. They need to they'll probably run a slant. Okay, this is where they ran the slant last time to Brown.
I mean, if they make a mistake, so what? They still have a big lead.
You got to be watching out for 24. All right.
There's the slant into Wallum. There it is. John Wallum. As you said, what a nice guy, nice card to have in your deck, huh?
Big target, big body. Just Nick stuffed the ball in there on his chest. And he made the grab. Now it's totally different. 1st and 10. Final play of the first quarter as things wrap up here. The score after 3. Rancho Cucamonga 49, Corona 21. We'll be back for the 4th quarter right after this.
Is this going to take all day?
How long will the repairs take?
Ask him how much it's going to cost.
I'll get to that.
Behind every transmission repair, there are a lot of questions. At Alliance Transmissions of Riverside, transmissions are all we do, so we get the job done right the first time, with no hidden costs and no unnecessary repairs. Come in now for our special transmission service. Our trained technicians will take the time to explain your repairs, and we'll get the job done when promised. Call Alliance Transmissions of Riverside. We're your neighborhood transmission service center.
Creating a successful social event can be very labor-intensive.
It was easy with Class A party supplies and rental, and everyone's having a great time.
At Class A Party Supply and Rental, we'll coordinate everything, handle setup and delivery so you can have a stress-free soiree. With our own supply store, we give you the best prices on everything you need for a rousing success.
This holiday season, call our party planners and make your party a stress-free success.
Class A Party Supply and Rental on Regis Court in Rancho Cucamonga, north of Foothill, west of Haven.
49-21, 1st and 10 for Rancho Cucamonga as we begin things here in the 4th quarter. Jarrett Brown in motion. Straight ahead with the football as the Cougars try to chew up some more clock. Down underneath the pile, looks like Tui Tupou. Andy Avalos making the tackle. Well, after the first quarter anyway, we said it was the quarter went to the Cougars, the 2nd quarter, but you'd have to say that the 3rd quarter belonged to Corona as they scored 21, the Cougars scored 7. But the Cougars would go for that same type of a quarter, Carl, because then they'd win the ball game.
Well, absolutely. You got to play all 4 quarters.
Absolutely. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. Hand off inside. There's Tui Tupou grinding it out. Tui Tupou gets down inside the 20-yard line. Looks like he got it down to about the 18.
That's a nice little deceptive play. They've run that little sweep play from that motion a couple times, and they've run that little give to the fullback off of it, and it's pretty deceptive, and it fooled Corona, and they got a nice gain.
Inside 11 minutes. The clock becoming a factor for Corona. It wasn't moving fast enough a little while ago for the Cougars. 3rd and 4. Huge, huge play for both teams.
There it is.
Fotia to throw to the end zone for Brown, and he dropped it in the end zone.
Couldn't quite put it away, but almost had it.
McCorkle on the coverage. Jared Brown has made that catch, going back to the ball so many times. Boy, the Cougars could have used it there, Carl.
Well, he had it in his hands. He had it totally controlled, and as he was starting to bring it towards his body, it just slipped out, or he was bumped or something that caused him to drop the ball. Let's see here.
We'll see here if McCorkle got a hand in there as he tried to put it away. A perfect pass. McCorkle still fighting. No, look at that. He's got the ball. Wow.
The number 1 kept his hand on his arm and just a little bit.
So Bates going to attempt a 36-yard field goal. A high snap. He got it away, and it is
good.
Wow.
Great.
What a huge, huge kick. And Mark Abate is ecstatic.
That's 5 scores now that Corona will have to get in order to get back in this thing.
We'll see what they can do. 10:29 to go in the ball game. Rancho Cucamonga 52, Corona 21. We'll be back.
Rancho Southwest Grill and Bar, located on Hull between Tyler and La Sierra, just around the corner from the Galleria. You'll be glad you chose Rancho's.
The most professional, intellectual concepts can only be blessed in class with profound effect.
Eliminating school causes even more stress. Ask a dropout, they'll tell you that life's a mess.
There's nothing like the pride of my high school rank. Hey, it took me 4 years just to earn this thing. You want to get it right and get on the right track. Make something of your life. Don't want to be whack.
Need school for a better life. We got to pay attention. Graduate, liberate. You gotta get your education.
Get an education.
I saw your hands going down.
You're watching the high school game of the week on the Charter Channel.
Thank you, ladies. We are back on the run. McCorkle at the 11. McCorkle. There's a flag coming in. I saw that one from here, Carl. I'm blind in one eye and can't see out of the other.
Yeah, there was a clip. Somebody got it behind.
Oh, there was a Cougar that got blocked, and he went about 5 yards after he was hit. So this one will come back. It's clipping. And that's twice now that the Panthers have really hurt themselves with the penalties.
Big plays. Big penalties.
Well, what it does is it makes it take even longer to score, even though they've been able to really get their offense rolling. They just don't have time to give up these kind of yards negatively.
No. You got 10:22 left. It's a possession game. It's just a matter of Rancho hanging on to the football a few possessions, and it's done.
31-point lead, actually. So 4 8-point touchdowns to get there, but boy, that's hard to roll. There's a pass over the middle. It's complete. That's McCorkle. Coverage down there by Brandon Parker as the Cougars continue to play very, very loose on defense. So much for those reserves coming in, Carl.
Right. Well, credit Robbins for doing a phenomenal job here, being hurt the way he is.
Is he something?
Yeah, to keep his poise and grit it out and make some nice throws.
That kid is unbelievable. Just courageous play here tonight. He completes it to McCorkle, who gets out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Well, they say he stepped out at the 43.
Nice play.
Not taking up much time.
No, and I saw them working that route early in warm-ups, throwing that an awful lot. It's kind of a timing route, and it's difficult to cover if it's thrown on time.
10:02. You figure they need 5 scores. Being successful on 4 consecutive 2-point tries and the Cougars not scoring, you don't want to look at that as the script. There's a pass complete to Wagner, who scored 2 touchdowns already. Boy, that kid's something else. making his grandma proud here tonight. He's from a very athletic family. His brother, Dustin, was an outstanding baseball player for Corona High School. 9:36. The clock is ticking, so every time that happens, that's not a good thing for the Panthers. There's Davis, and that's the one thing the Cougars have really done tonight is shut him down. Cabildo, Smoot, Tuitupo have done a marvelous job against him.
Well, you gotta run the ball a little bit, but they're so keen on him now that they're going to burn about 35, 40 seconds of time because of that particular play, but you have to try it now and then just to keep him honest.
Inside 9 minutes before this play will be run off, and if you've got to get 5 scores, you're talking about less than 2 minutes a score. That's not an easy ticket.
No.
Robbins brings him up. Robbins back, wants to throw. To the sideline, complete to Barnett, out of bounds, inside Cougar territory, and he got out of bounds at the Cougar 46.
By number 1, Chris Relaford.
Well, Rancho's doing some twisting up front when they get in that spread set, trying to create some problems for the offensive linemen of Corona. Their Trezon, I saw that time, they were doing a little twist with the tackle in the end, getting some pressure that way.
Little poise necessary now by the Cougars. They've been knocked around a little bit here. They've got to be able to answer back. Robbins to throw, down deep for Barnett, and it'll be intercepted by 2 Cougars. I think Jared Brown may have been knocked out by his own teammate down there.
I think he got a little gas knocked out of him there. I don't think it was hard enough to do anything else. Hopefully not, unless he squashed the ball on his ribs.
He had Marvin Clark and John Wallen both back there, along with Jared Brown going for the interception. That pass just not enough on, and there you see Robbins being helped off. And folks, you don't see it every time, but that's happened every time he's come off the field. This kid is, I mean, you talk about an Iron Man and just a courageous performance. You can't say enough about it. 8:38 to go, but that's a big turnover. The Cougars now with the ball and 8:38 remaining in the ball game.
2 backs.
Nick Foti out of the pro set this time. Hands the ball to Valerie. Valerie gets outside, wants to stay in bounds. And he got out of bounds. I'm sure they're going to talk to him. He's just a sophomore, and it looked like he was trying to get outside. They're probably going to say, hey, listen, we don't need the clock to stop here.
Well, he got a first down, though. Give him credit for that. So they got an extra down out of the deal. I'm sure they're hollering in his ear. Of course, when you run a sweep play, it can happen.
That's right. Nice pickup by Joe Valerie, seeing some running back duty due to the fact that Chris McKinley is out and Omar Marino. Quite a performance, and if Marino can make it back next week for the Cougars, they'll be in very solid shape. Jared Brown comes out wide to the near side. The fans stomping their feet. You can tell by the shaky picture. And it's a draw inside. That's Tuitupo.
Tuitupo on the carry.
Very sure-handed runner.
Runs for a short gain on the play.
Picks up 1.
Rancho's doing the smart thing, just running the ball.
But the clock now is mainly the biggest enemy of the Panthers. 7:38 and counting down, remaining in the ball game, and those penalties, and then the interception. But I'll tell you what was big, Carl. Josh Franco, the holder on the field goal, going up the ladder to save that high snap, getting it down for a bait to kick the field goal. Fotia with the football. Fotia gets it up across the 35. Eric Bello making the stop.
Now that's a nice little play. They fake a running play, and then Nick, it's almost like a quarterback counter play where he will fake the run and then turn it back up the opposite direction. Watch here. He's going to turn around, fake a play this way, and then run quarterback counter, and they trap 44. Do a nice job right there. Excellent play. Of course, you hate to see Nick get chewed up too much.
Absolutely. 3rd down 3. We'll see how long he remains in the ball game, if he comes out at all. You know, it's going to be like having to just yank him out of the game. He's not going to want to come out. Look at him. He's still running with the football. On 3rd and 3, he didn't get it, and the Panthers will get the ball back on downs, I believe.
Well, I think that there was a mix-up on that. It looked to me like he wanted to hand the ball off, and either he didn't open up right or the back wasn't ready to receive the ball, but I don't think that was a designed play.
Well, it's close enough for a measurement. They're going to bring the chains from across the field. I don't know why, eyeballing it here. I mean, it doesn't look like they've got enough, but you just never know. They'll bring the chains across. The winner of this one takes on the winner of Rubidoux and Temecula Valley.
Well, if they don't make it, they have a chance to get the clock below 6 minutes before they snap the ball on the punt.
Well, and that's what's so big right now, Carl, because that's just not enough time to put that many points on the board. You basically have to be letter perfect. You have to score, be successful on 2, get the onside kick, not just once, twice, 3 times, but 4 times. That's a pretty tall order.
I would say it's pretty impossible.
Yeah. They threw quite a scare into the Cougars, however. The Panthers down 49-0, got it to 49-21 after 3 quarters.
Now that official should wind that clock, and the Rancho should take their time kicking it.
Well, the Cougars are actually lining up as if they're going to go for it, and you'd have to think, Carl, that they're just going to try to draw them offside.
Well, he's probably going to take a delay.
And look at Nick Fotia saying, hey, wind the clock.
Hasn't started.
Boy, that is just senior leadership and just knowing what's going on in the ball game. Not hard to tell. He's a coach's son, huh?
I'm really surprised if he doesn't call a timeout here.
He got him offside. Look at that. Now I don't think he called timeout. He said, hey, look, they jumped off.
No, I think that the Corona jumped. I didn't see anybody move for Rancho.
I don't think anybody moved, but the officials
He's just barking signals.
They're all talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it should be.
I got to tell you, folks, you put all that on Nick Fotia. First, he has the presence of mind to tell the officials to roll the clock, and then with the hard count, the Panthers thought that the right guard or tackle might have moved, but the officials didn't see it that way, and unfortunately, they're the only ones that matter.
Well, been a great effort tonight by Rancho.
Inside 5:50 remaining in this game. That's Valerie. Valerie fighting for some yards. And what great experience this young Joe Valerie's getting. Just a sophomore. Andy Avalos brings him down. I mean, here's a guy who's going to be probably fairly important in the offensive scheme of things in the next 2 years for the Cougars, and he's getting CIF playoff experience here tonight.
Well, I think you got to give an awful lot of credit to the offensive line too, Rod. I know you do. Without them,
the Dooleys. Yeah, the Dooleys, Johnson, Smoot, Nelson, Brad Glover.
Yep.
We've called him a few times. Number 66 has done a fine job.
They did it a different way tonight. They did it. They did it with mirrors. I really think that they had such a great game plan that Corona was not prepared. You know, they were throwing to Wallem and throwing to Jarrett all down the field, and this was a great game plan by them.
Well, Jarrett Brown really displayed his speed, but just right at the beginning, Nick Fotia sent a message that he is just one complete package at quarterback. He can throw the ball, he can run the ball, and he's explosive when he gets out into the open field.
Sounds like a recruitable guy to me.
I bet you'd love to have him over there, Carl. But, hey, you guys made it to a bowl game, I understand.
Yeah, we'd like to invite all the people, Rancho, Cucamonga, Altaloma, Etowanda, to come out and watch us. We're playing in another week on a Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at our place, the Southern California Bowl, and we're going to be playing against College of the Canyon, who is also ranked 15th in the state right now.
So that'll be over at your house, Chaffey College, and what time was the game again?
It'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. It'll be a nice time. If people want to come out and watch junior college football, they're more than welcome to come. We'd love to have them.
Boy, if it's anything like the last couple of days, Thanksgiving Day, what a beautiful, beautiful day, and today as well. 4th and 2. Fotia up to do it again. You know he's going to do a hard count here. He doesn't get him to jump this time. He turns and calls timeout.
Timeout call by the Cougars.
So he'll go over, talk things over with his father, the coach, and the rest of the coaching staff. Or I don't know if they're going to break away and take a full timeout. I suppose they are. 3:42 to go in the ball game. 52-21. We'll be right back.
Go get yourself about now.
Since 1966, Enterprise Chevrolet has been your hometown dealer, providing unbeatable Chevy deals to keep you coming back.
I bought my first car from Enterprise Chevrolet in 1972, a Malibu, and my family and I have been coming back ever since.
You've got to come into Enterprise Chevrolet and experience the brand new 1999 Silverado with an even roomier extended cab, several new safety features, and an entirely new engine. Catch the new 1999 Silverado at your hometown dealer, Enterprise Chevrolet, on Foothill, just east of Mountain in Upland.
Empire Nissan is the #1 seller of Nissans in the Inland Empire. The all-new 2000s are here, but we also have a huge selection of used cars. Take advantage of our first-time buyer financing. What's more, high school students and their families get fleet sale prices when they see Joe Sartor or Pervez Wazi. Empire Nissan is located in the Ontario Auto Center. Mention this ad at the time of purchase, and Empire Nissan will donate $100 to the high school of your choice. Empire Nissan is your hometown dealer, and that's why we're
Some unhappy faces on the Corona Panthers side of things as time is just running out on their very, very fine football team. 3:42 remaining in the ball game. The Cougars will punt the ball away.
Return #1, Brian McCorkle.
Clark punts it down. McCorkle lets it roll dead, and the Cougars will just let it roll dead at the 21-yard line. 3:31 remaining in the ball game. And Carl, I think 2 plays that they may be lost in the shuffle when people are talking about it because everyone remembers touchdowns and interceptions. But that first down reception was a big third down play to John Wallum when the Cougars had gone 3 and out a couple of times. Huge play. And then Josh Franco, the save on the high snap that enabled Abate to kick the field goal because it took momentum away.
Oh, that little 3 points was big because it did. It put another little nail in the coffin that they knew they couldn't pull out. So those 2 plays that you just mentioned were big plays in the second half.
You see the score, 52-21. So the Cougars are going to play the winner of the game going on between Rubidoux and Temecula Valley. John Brandom out talking to his team, and it's got to be tough. I mean, you're the #1 seed coming in, and I know that the Panthers, maybe they didn't want it as bad as Norco did, but the Norco Cougars, you couldn't want a team more badly than they want to play the Corona Panthers.
Right.
But I'm sure if they're winning their ball game, they'll take whoever they're going to come up against.
I tell you, at this level, at this time of the year, you have to have some real mentally tough kids that want to stick around and practice 4 more weeks and have a goal because it's like another season, and a lot of kids just aren't ready for that. They'd rather go and do something else.
And you know, this Rancho Cucamonga team, they don't play lightweights in their non-league season. You want to remember, one of their victories was a non-league win over a Division I team, Redlands, and one of their 3 losses was against a Division I power in St. Paul. Flea flicker going to Wagner, looking downfield, and Mike Moon intercepts it. They tried to get it to McCorkle. Moon trying to pick up a block, and he's tackled from behind by Brian McCorkle.
Well, you've got to try those things, but you know, you're just sitting back there in center field going to make plays on deep balls like that.
Wagner threw it as far as he could, and there you see Gabe Robbins limping off the field one more time. 3 minutes, 18 seconds, and now it's almost just put the ball into the belly of Tui Tupou and have him hold on to it.
Yep. Get on the bus, go home, have some pizza, and get ready next week.
Fotia has him ready. So, and it's to Valerie, the sophomore. Covers the ball up nicely, picks up a couple.
Yeah, at this time of the game, if you're Valerie, you're kind of getting up there, and you're not saying anything because you're only a sophomore, but you're kind of hoping those big guys up front block a little better than what they're doing. They're just kind of wanting to go home.
Valerie's a big kid. He's going to be something, Carl. 6'1", 185. I would actually look for him to, I mean, if he's got the speed, probably in the coming years, he puts any meat on those bones, he may go into the tight end spot or become a receiver.
Well, you don't know what plans they have. I know that the Rancho has a tremendous weight program that they run. I've been over there and watched it many times, and they get those kids strong. You'd be surprised how strong some of these smaller players really are. They've got kids that are cleaning. That's a lift, cleaning to their chest 300 pounds or more, and that's a tremendous lift.
Well, we want to congratulate John Brandom and his team. Regardless of the outcome of tonight's ball game, what a wonderful, wonderful football season they've had. 10 wins, one of those over their arch rival, the Norco Cougars, here on the game of the week. Just a very exciting ball game, 49-40. They get involved in some very high-scoring ball games. Don't forget, folks, we'll be selecting a Lee Adams Discount Sales Player of the Game, as well as an Anthony's Cyclery Player of the Game. Tui Tupo carries the football. You know, you look on the Cougar side of things, Carl, and you got Fotia, you got Brown. You also have the defense that really set the tone. They threw a shutout into the third quarter at this very explosive Corona Panther team as the Panthers spend their final timeout. 3:02 remaining. We'll take a break and we'll return to Corona High School right after this.
The perfect holiday gift is a memory video by Digital Gateway. Imagine the world premiere of your memory video just in time for the holidays and starring you and your family. Digital Gateway can transform your photos and slides into a video montage of memories. Call 980-7808 now. A video memory is coming soon to a home near you. Why not make it yours?
I have a confession to make. I love my new car, but I love the Daewoo difference even more. My new Daewoo includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile limited warranty, scheduled maintenance, and 24-hour emergency roadside service. And I feel, well, guilty. But I take a moment and I remind myself it's good to try something new. Daewoo in the Ontario Auto Center, starting at $89.99, nicely equipped. Daewoo.
So we are back at Corona High School. Fotia on the quarterback draw, and he breaks free. He's still on his feet. Look at him battle, and then he loses the football. And the Panthers, I believe, have recovered. We're waiting for a signal from the officials, and there it is. It is Panther ball, and that's just an example of Nick Fotia trying to do a little too much.
He wants to score. You know, he was intending on trying to score there. He just got hit a little bit from behind, and so coughed the ball up. But what a competitor! You know, he knows that the object of this game is to put the ball across the line. That's what he was trying to do.
2:53 to go in the ball game. So the Panthers, who used all 3 of their timeouts while the Cougars had the ball, will now have to use the sidelines to stop the clock. Robbins back, looking towards the sideline, and he is drilled. That's Tui Tupo. What a job Elias Tui Tupo has done tonight, Carl. You know, there's been a lot of points put on the board, and I think that's going to be it for Gabe Robbins. I just don't think there's anything left in the tank.
Well, I think
he is so hurt.
There's a good chance when a guy limps like that he has a fracture. You know, possible fracture in his foot. I mean, it's painful. If he does, it's painful. It's pretty difficult to go on. He's trying to get him. He really does have to go out.
John Brandom. Yeah, because this would be an injury timeout. I believe that the Panthers used all their timeouts. So if they call the timeout for the player, they've got to bring in another player, I believe. Well, that's... I'm really surprised that they are leaving him in the ball game at all. He probably doesn't want to come out is the thing. It's probably why.
Well, what is he in there for? If they're not going to throw the they got to throw the football, so you're going to run the risk of hurting him more. The game is over with. I don't know that I'd leave him in there. Not if he's hurt. You know, it's an iffy thing, but if I was dad or mom watching, I don't know that I'd want him in there.
Yeah. Well, he's put on a courageous show. A lot of standouts for both teams. Robbins has just been just some kind of a player. Jaron Wagner, 2 touchdown receptions tonight, has put on quite a show for the Corona fans here tonight.
This is not good.
Robbins just limps up to the line of scrimmage. Hands off to Davis, and Davis once again doesn't get untracked, and there's Ryan Perez, Trayson Lewis. They have just done a heck of a job in there tonight, haven't they? Moving towards the final 2 minutes of the ball game.
I think this is the best I've seen Trayson play all year in terms of getting up the field and getting pressure, and then also Cedric Oliver did a nice job too, but gosh, great job by the defense.
So a tough outing tonight for Tony Davis, young man who came into the ball game with 20 touchdowns, over 1,650 yards, and he is drilled the minute he touches the ball. And down on the bottom, guess who? Elias Tuitupo, Ryan Perez finishing him off on top.
Well, I'm not sure what coach is doing with. I guess he's just trying to get Davis a couple more carries in his. Is he not a senior?
He's a senior as well.
He may be just trying to get him to go out in style. If I was going to go out in style, I think I'd call timeout and take him out and let people recognize him.
Well, they've used the timeouts as they leave the guys on the field. 3rd down and 13. They don't convert here. They'll have to come off the field. Robbins throws. It's almost picked off. Tried to get it into Jaron Wagner once again. That was Jared Brown on defense.
Big victory for Coach Foti and their staff. This is a big victory.
Oh, yeah. Jared Brown with 4 touchdowns and an interception tonight. What a performance by the little guy of the Cougars. As we try to figure out a player of the game, Carl, I tell you, I'm just...
Well, I think you need to take a hard look at the quarterback for Corona. I think he did an outstanding job considering the situation. Robbins. Look at it. They have to carry the guy off now.
Gabe Robbins being carried to the bench. Being talked to by head coach John Brandon. I mean, the courage that this young man has displayed tonight just is beyond description, actually.
Well, I'll investigate and I'll find out what's wrong with that guy down the line. I'll
be interesting to find out.
See if he was playing with a fracture.
I'm gonna have to slap Gardner around. You know, he never found out for us. He's down there talking to John Brandon on the sideline as the Cougars take a knee. 30 seconds counting down remaining in the ball game.
That'll do it.
I don't think they need to take another snap, and the fans across the way are very, very happy. As you said, Carl, this is a very, very big win. Not just tonight, but for the whole Cougar program. Well, this is quite a victory.
And let's see if Altaloma won tonight. If they did, then Rancho, Cucamonga, and Altaloma people are going to be pretty happy. That's it.
That's the end of the ball game. Final score, Rancho Cucamonga 52, Corona 21. We'll be back to wrap up when we return to Corona High School after these messages.
Being the #1 Pontiac Buick dealer in California is a big advantage at Muller Hood Buick. We have a full lineup of Buicks, Regal, Century, LeSabre, and Park Avenue. Right now, you can take advantage of a low finance rate or cash back on select models of our 99 Buicks. Muller Hood Buick is the place for great savings, great service, and great selection, and that's your advantage. See us today at Muller Hood Buick, 8001 Auto Drive in Riverside. We're the #1 Pontiac Buick dealer in California.
Creating a successful social event can be very labor-intensive.
It was easy with Class A party supplies and rental, and everyone's having a great time.
At Class A Party Supply and Rental, we'll coordinate everything, handle setup and delivery so you can have a stress-free soiree. With our own supply store, we give you the best prices on everything you need for a rousing success.
This holiday season, call our party planners and make your party a stress-free success.
Class A Party Supply and Rental on Regis Court in Rancho Cucamonga, north of Foothill, west of Haven.
Back here at Corona High School, a 52-21 Rancho Cucamonga lead, joined by a couple of star players in tonight's game. Let's start out here with Jarrett Brown, wide receiver and defensive back in tonight's game. Jarrett, obviously a big victory, and I would have to say kind of a surprise to most people except for Rancho Cucamonga fans. How did you feel coming into the game? Was there a little bit of trepidation or fear as to what Corona could propose to you guys offensively? Obviously, they can put points on the board.
Well, no, we came in really confident. We knew that we had stopped backs, great running backs like number 21 in the past, and we knew that for defense we could stop them here. Offensively, we knew we could pass the ball and run, and that's what we did. We did a great job.
And obviously, you were part of the big offensive plan for Rancho Cucamonga. 3 touchdowns on the night tonight, by the way. Congratulations. What was the team's mindset coming into the playoffs, losing 2 of your starting running backs?
Well, we knew we had to pick it up from there, but we knew we could fill it in with our other backups because they're good just like them. So.
And I made it over to your sidelines partially through the third quarter, and your offensive coordinator, Paul Ingalls, gave a lot of kudos to the offensive line. How do you think they did tonight?
Oh, they did great. I give them all the props. They did great.
Okay, this is Jarrett Brown, 3 touchdowns on the night tonight. I'm gonna come over here, Nick Fotia, quarterback in tonight's game, threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for 2 more. Also, as I mentioned to Jarrett, talked to Paul Ingalls, said a big key in your offensive plan was for you to be able to audibilize at the line of scrimmage. How hard have you guys been working on that, or is that something you've been doing all year?
We really been looking towards that for all week. We had the defense, the scout defense was bringing in different kinds of fronts that, I mean, I usually never see. And the coaches just told me to relax and, you know, go with the flow, just pick whatever bubble I have to call the play. And we have a nice set of audibles where I can call pretty much whatever I want. So it worked out pretty well.
It seems like at this point of the year, of course, it's a shame to lose 2 running backs at any time, but when you're heading into CIF, that's probably one of the worst times to do it. Do you feel there's extra pressure on you as a senior leader to, let's say, carry this team to the championship game?
Not at all. We have plenty of guys that can come out. We got a new set with receivers. We just spread the field out, spread the defense out, and it's just like old times, just like it has been all the past weeks. It's just a little spread out more, a little more spread out. So.
Well, they spotted you 49 points, and as I mentioned to Garrett over there, it had to be a big surprise to a lot of people since Corona was the #1 seed. Was this any kind of a surprise to the Rancho Cucamonga sidelines, or was it something with your game plan you expected you could do is to jump out quickly?
Well, the 49 on our side, I mean, it was a surprise that we could score that many points, but we knew we were going to score a lot of points because we knew their defense. They had a lot of their athletes on the offensive side of the ball, and they had a really, really strong offense, and the defense was a little weaker. So the 49 I could live with, but the goose egg on the other side was a real surprise that our defense could pull out that kind of play against this offense.
I want to congratulate you on a great performance tonight. You go on to play the winner of Temecula Valley, Rubidoux. Once again, Nick Fotia, 5 touchdowns on the night, and Jarrett Brown, 3 touchdowns on the night as Rancho Cucamonga wins 52-21. We'll be back with more right after these words.
The high school game of the week is brought to you by Class A Party Rentals, Enterprise Chevrolet, and Daewoo of Ontario.
Intellectual concepts can only be bust in class with profound effect.
Eliminating school causes even more stress. Ask a dropout, they'll tell you that life's a mess.
There's nothing like the pride of my high school race. Hey, it took me 4 years just to earn this thing. Break it down. It's gonna pay off, don't wanna be in debt. You see, knowledge is success, and school's your best bet. You wanna get it right and get on the right track. Make something of your life, don't wanna be whacked. See, this high school ring's the thing to get. So stay in school, cause it's just your best bet.
Leave school for a better life. Pick up and pay attention. Graduate, liberate. You gotta get your education.
Get an education.
here at Corona High School. Nice enough to be joined by John Branham, head coach at Corona. John, this, I believe, is your 4th season at Corona High School, taking over the program. It's got to be an emotional end of the season for you. You came in Division V, ranked #1, and a huge emotional win over Norco to win the Mountain View League title. What do you have to say about the season and all?
Well, you know, first of all, I'm really proud of my senior class, and you know, basically we came in here 4 years ago, and they were the first group of kids that went through the program for 4 years, and they helped build the foundation, build the walls, put the roof on, and we did some furnishing this year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach our ultimate goal, but I think the kids have a lot of really positive things to look back on, and I just want to say thanks to them, and I'm real proud of them, and I'll miss them.
Oh, when I was looking over the brackets, it's almost like the NCAA when you try to pick the winners going through, and I'd actually picked a Norco-Corona matchup in the final game again. Obviously, the key to tonight's game seemed like a very early momentum swing with the turnovers, you feel?
Yeah, well, you know, we had some mistakes, and they caused some miscues for us, and they capitalized on them and kind of put us at a difficult situation, and kind of took us out of our game plan, and kind of knocked us back on our heels a little bit, and it took us a while to recover. We came back in the second half, and kids kept fighting and showed a lot of character, and tried to win a football game.
And, as we mentioned before, this is your 4th year at the program. You're losing quite a bit with Gabriel Robbins graduating and Andy Avalos and Tony Davis. What's the prospect for Corona football in your mind next year?
Well, you know, those kind of guys you can't replace those kind of guys. I mean, those are guys of their own stature, but we have a real bright future next year. I feel we got a lot of good young kids coming up. We got a lot of great kids coming back that played a ton for us this year. Prospectus is great, in my opinion.
Okay, John, once again, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on a good year.
Thank you.
Once again, this is John Branham, head coach of Corona. A sad end to a great season for them. I'm going to go back up to Rod. Thanks, John. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rich, and congratulations to John Branham. It was a very outstanding football season. Wrapping up the scoring tonight, first of all, in the third quarter, the final scoring touchdown-wise for the Cougars was scored by Trayson Lewis, big number 91 on a 5-yard pass, 9:18 to go in the third quarter. That made it 49-0, but that's when the Cougars kind of relaxed a little bit, or the Panthers just took the bull by the horns, and they started to make things interesting as Jeremy Barnett caught a 6-yard touchdown pass and made it 49-7. And then Darren Wagner, a 50-yard TD pass with 5:01 to go in the third quarter, made it 49-13. Wagner again, this time on a 2-yard pass reception, made it 49-21. But then that big field goal by Mark Abate out of the hold of Josh Franco, and it was that save on the high snap from center that really sealed the game for the Cougars, as Mark Abate was able to punch through the field goal. Final score 52-21. Taking a look at the MK Smith Chevrolet game summary tonight, not surprisingly, you have Rancho Cucamonga rolling up a lot of total yards, 474 total yards, 178 through the air, 296 on the ground, 15 first downs and 70 yards in penalties. For the Panthers, 20 first downs, but only 68 yards rushing, and that from a team that has somebody like Tony Davis as their featured running back. Great job by the Rancho Cucamonga defense and their defensive coordinators. Passing yards, 198 total yards, 266, 75 yards in penalties. Tell you one thing, it was very hard to come up with the players of the game. Carl and I debated at length, and there you see one of them for the Corona Panthers, number 8, Darren Wagner. I'm sure that's going to make Grandma Dingle very proud. He's the Anthony Cyclery player of the game for the Corona Panthers. You see him walking with one of his teammates. That's Jason Coletti. Tough end to the season for those two young men. Darren Wagner, a senior, as he'll be moving on hopefully to the next level Had quite an exciting game, 2 touchdowns tonight. For the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars, it was hard to choose. The defense, hey, did a great job, so honorable mention to them. They just did a marvelous job, especially the linebackers, shutting down Tony Davis. But the Lee Adams Discount Sales Player of the Games for Rancho Cucamonga, we've got a couple of them. Pete Fotia, who had a hand in all the touchdowns, at least he handed them off, but he ran for 2, he passed for a couple. Jarrett Brown also Player of the Game for Discount Lee Adams Discount Sales Player of the Game from Rancho Cucamonga. They both put on quite a show as the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars will now move on to the semifinals where they made it to last year in Division 5 of the CIF Southern Section Championships. The crew did a great job. Want to thank Rich Gardner, and for Carl Beach, I'm Rod Shemp, thanking you for being with us and inviting you to join us next time here on Channel 54 and Charters Channel 3 for the High School Game of the Week.
Charter Communications presents the High School Game of the Week, brought to you by Class A Party Rentals, Enterprise Chevrolet, and Daewoo of Ontario.
On a very cold, football weathery night at Chaffey College, it is the High School Game of the Week, where tonight the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars take on the Temecula Valley Bears in the Division 5 Southern Section Semifinal Championship game. Tonight, the Cougars play host to the Bears. Hi once again, everyone. I'm Rod Shemp, and along with Rich Gardner and Carl Beach, the head coach of the Chaffey College football team, happy to bring you all the exciting action of tonight's game that has 2 teams, Rich, that are similar in style, that they both like to pass the ball. But talking to the Rancho Cucamonga coaches, what they say is, hey, we pass when we want to, they pass when they have to.
Well, Rancho Cucamonga, Rod, actually has been, it seems like they would be forced to pass lately with the loss of their 2 running backs. But the key to Rancho Cucamonga's success lately has been Nick Fotia. Not only has he been able to air it up very well, but he's been very successful as far as tucking it in and running it. And he has pretty much been the workhorse for Rancho Cucamonga's offense.
Well, on the other side, you have the Temecula Valley Bears with Ronnie Hill at quarterback. They have Josh Bennett, Luke Raleigh as their running backs. This Raleigh kid I've heard so much about. He's the senior. Bennett is the junior. They're both supposed to be very talented. But, you know, when you look at Rancho Cucamonga, the way they played last week against Corona, they showed that not only can they pass the ball, but Nick Fotia can run it as Jarrett Brown can run that football.
And it seems like both teams are actually on a very good roll, which is where you want your team coming into this semifinal action. Temecula Valley, their record is 8-4. It's kind of deceiving at this point because a lot of their losses were early in the year when their star quarterback, Ronnie Hill, had a broken hand or an injured hand as far as we hear. So having a quarterback of his stature back healthy at this time of the year is going to be the key to their success tonight.
And, of course, the Cougars are without a couple of their players, Chris McKinley and Marino at running back. But with Nick Fotia, John Wallum, Jarrett Brown, Michael Moon, they're hoping to have enough to handle the Bears here tonight. We'll have more of the pregame when Rich is back with the head coach of the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars, Pete Fotia, right after these messages.
I have a confession to make. I practically stole my new Daewoo. You see, I bought factory direct. I cut out the middleman by buying direct from Daewoo. I really feel sorry for the guys because I got a whole lot of car for my money. Can you believe a 3-year, 36,000-mile limited warranty, schedule maintenance, and 24-hour roadside assistance is included? Incredible.
Daewoo in the Ontario Auto Center, starting at $89.99, nicely equipped.
But let's keep this quiet. These guys might wise up and raise their prices.
Daewoo.
The perfect holiday gift is a memory video by Digital Gateway. Imagine the world premiere of your memory video just in time for the holidays and starring you and your family. Digital Gateway can transform your photos and slides into a video montage of memories. Call 980-7808 now. A video memory is coming soon to a home near you. Why not make it yours?
Back here at Chaffee's College, it's the pregame show of the high school game of the week. You can call it anything you want, but that's what we call it. We're joined by Pete Fotia, long time, in fact, the only head coach of Rancho Cucamonga. Pete, your team's had a lot of success throughout the years. As you've liked to describe this season, it could be a season of destiny, or you're living on borrowed time, or you've been working with smoke and mirrors. Obviously, it's been a great season. So far, how do you think the season's going?
I'm amazed. These kids have overcome a ton of adversity this season. We've had an unbelievable number of injuries and illnesses, and we've had to deal with some ineligibility here in the playoffs, and the survivors just keep hanging in, playing hard, and refuse to give up or give in. So I'm really proud of this bunch.
There's an old saying, Pete, that goes, familiarity breeds contempt, and you have a lot of familiarity with the coach of Temecula Valley Golden Bears, Bud Kane. How far back do you guys know, and do you think your knowledge of his schemes will help you in this game?
Oh, man. Well, I don't know if it's if we're that familiar, but our paths have crossed a couple of times way back in the early 80s when we were coaching in Riverside County. He was at Elsinore, and I was at Notre Dame Riverside. We played a couple ball games, and then we met in '93 in the playoffs here between them. We went down and played at their place and lost a heartbreaker 14-17 with just minutes left. And Bud's done it well a long time, and he's got his way. It's unique, and it's successful, so it's always a challenge. Hopefully a little more familiar, like you said, and able to communicate that to the kids. That's the key.
Well, one of the advantages of having a coaching tenure of your duration is you know kids and you know teams. I wanted to ask you a question regarding last week's victory. Obviously, it was a very lopsided game for the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars. Do you think that helps a team coming into the next round having a blowout, or do you think it could give them a false sense of confidence?
Oh, man. With 16, 17-year-old kids, that's a really hard question to answer. It really depends on the personality and level of maturity of the kids. I think this group really just put it behind them and stepped up to the next challenge, and personally that's what I prefer. So I mean, there's some momentum there, but as far as overconfidence, I don't think that's occurred.
Okay, well, this is Coach Pete Fotia, the Rancho Cucamonga Cougars, hoping to advance to the finals for the first time since I believe it was 1995, as they square off against the Temecula Valley Golden Bears. A little bit delayed tonight after fighting that I-15 up north. Definitely it's a team that should know how to drive after their Thanksgiving festivities. We'll be back with more of the pregame show right after these words.
Since 1966, Enterprise Chevrolet has been your hometown dealer, providing unbeatable Chevy deals to keep you coming back.
I bought my first car from Enterprise Chevrolet in 1972, a Malibu, and my family and I have been coming back ever since.
You've got to come into Enterprise Chevrolet and experience the brand new 1999 Silverado with an even roomier extended cab, several new safety features, and an entirely new engine. Catch the new 1999 Silverado at your hometown dealer, Enterprise Chevrolet, on Foothill, just east of Mountain in Upland.
Discover Castle Park, Southern California's best-kept secret. With over 30 rides, shows, and attractions, and no admissions charge. It's the affordable family theme park. Kids get unlimited rides for just $12.99, and adults do it all for just $14.99. From 400 games to magic shows and special events, it's just plain fun for the whole family. Castle Park, the undiscovered treasure off the 91 freeway between Riverside and Corona next to Tyler Mall. Castle Park, the secret is out.
We're back at Chaffey College. I'm Rod Shemp, joined now by Carl Beach. And Carl, we were talking about the fact that you've got a lot of history with a lot of people out here today, especially Bud Kane, the Temecula Valley Bears football coach.
That's right, Rod. Bud and I go way back when I coached at Bloomington High School years ago in the mid-'80s, and before that even when he was coaching at Elsinore. And he's taken a brand new program, Temecula Valley, long ago, and has made it just a powerhouse each year. They are seasoned in the playoffs. They won CIF championships. They know what they're doing. It's going to be a great game.
Well, and for Pete Fotia, a guy also very seasoned in the playoffs, and he showed his experience at last week against Corona when they stopped the very talented Tony Davis